Truth is the lie. Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew is Yahweh-Shai. So do or die. The immaculate conception is deception. Along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's claw, the birth of Nimrod. And not the son of God. To you was kind of odd. On the Passover, Christ was born in the spring. So now we bring the truth about the King of Kings. The black Jesus and not Caesar Borgias. And the facts can't be changed. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh-Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh-Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh-Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh-Shai. It's all about the Most High.
Shalom, shalom. Shalom. Welcome to another class here at ISBHPK. We are located here in Houston, Texas. The address here for the school is 8524 South Braeswood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, zip code 77071. If you got anybody in the San Antonio area that would like to link up, that would like to congregate for class, definitely hit us up and we can get you in touch with the brothers out there in San Antonio. The address to their school is 4219 Centergate Street, San Antonio, Texas, zip code 78217. Also, we got classes out there in Albuquerque. We got brothers out there. So if you would like to link up with those brothers out there in Albuquerque, New Mexico, same thing, just hit us up. We will get you in contact with those brothers out there. So we got Passover coming up. Passover is going to be on April the 21st. It's like what, like a month and a half from now? So Passover is going to be coming up on April the 21st, 2019. The location for the Passover is going to be the Sterling Banquet Hall, venue number 2. The address for the location of the Passover will be 10112 Hammerly Boulevard, Houston, Texas 77080. I believe that's the same place we had the Passover at last year. So for those that remember that place, it should be the same place. Purim is coming up March 18th and March 19th. The locations for the Purim on the 18th will be at Kazakian's house. The 19th will be held at the school. That'll be a little bit of what we're going over today. Well, not a little bit. That'll be the class that we're going over today too, about Purim. And Israel will not be taking any orders until after the Passover. Again, Israel will not be taking any orders until after the Passover is complete. And you know, the brothers, we got our old business. The website is coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Here in Houston, as you already know, we got the class schedule for here in Houston is Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Fridays from 6 to 9 p.m. And Shabbat, Saturday morning classes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Kids classes every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. You may, however, watch our pre-recorded kids classes on our ISBHPK Kids channel. So definitely check that out. Definitely check that out if you have kids under the age of 12. Get them watching something good. And you can watch all our classes live on ISBHPK on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Get the link out. We ask that everybody is watching class, please get those likes up so it could be brought to more people that's on YouTube. Yeah, it can be broadcast to more people. And we got the cable show every Tuesday and it's on 8:30 p.m. Comcast local channel 17. Or if you're out of the Houston area, you can always log in to your computer and stream it live on hmstv.org. And like I was saying earlier about, Albuquerque, New Mexico, we got the Blog Talk Radio. That's for Shabbat out there at theblogtalkradio.com/MASHAHBA. And that's Monday through Friday. And it starts at 9:30 a.m. Definitely check that out. They got a lot of classes on there as well. And if you'd like to reach any of the teachers, we ask that you text only during class. We got Priest Kazakian. His number is 281-707-2737. And we got Priest Patazab. And his number is 303-557. Slide. 303-557-8979. I'm gonna give you guys Kazaki's number again. It's 281-707-2737. Kwatazop's number is 303-557-8979. And if you got any questions, concerns, you can always email us at isbhbk.org. isbhbk@isbhbk.org. And if you'd like to give any donations, if you'd like to contribute in any way, shape, or form, especially for the Passover, we're still taking donations for the Passover, for the location, for the lamb. If you would like to give to the Passover, we definitely ask that you do. It's welcome and needed. The Wells Fargo account number is on the screen. The Google Wallet address is on the screen as well. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and go into it.
All right. So if you have questions, go ahead and hold your questions until the Sabbath tomorrow. You can get those answered because we have a pretty packed class today going over the Feast of Purim. A lot of us are kind of freshly coming into the truth. We're freshly coming into understanding what our traditions, our customs, even history, man. When you deal with the Bible, there's a lot of history in the Bible, man, that you can find in other sources. It's beautiful. With that, give me John chapter 15. John chapter 15 and verse 26, or 14 and 26.
St. John chapter 14, verse 26.
Because we're coming back to the knowledge, man. We're coming back to, our purpose. We're coming back to our heritage. And again, whenever you read this Bible, read this good book, you have to be in a Hebrew mind state. A lot of us are still in the American mind state, man. We have our American traditions, our American thought processes. But when you deal with this Bible was written by Hebrews, Hebrew Israelites. So get your mind ready and to transform it into a Hebrew. All right, read where you at.
St. John chapter 14, verse 26. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name.
And we know this Holy Spirit is His Bible, man. Read.
He shall teach you all things.
He shall do what?
Teach you all things.
Yeah, this Bible is going to teach us our customs. It's going to teach us the feast days that we don't know anything about. All we know about is Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Easter, President's Day, Labor Day. No, we're going to start learning about Purim, the Passover, the Feast of Tabernacles. All these beautiful high holy days that the Most High has instituted and given us. Read.
And bring all things to your remembrance.
What's going to happen?
He bring all things to your remembrance.
And that's why we go through this Bible, man, to have our brain sparks and remember the things that we used to know. Read.
Whatsoever I have said unto you.
Right. Because again, this Bible has a lot of history, man. A lot of history and a lot of good things that we need to apply in our life to be prosperous. All right. Give me Deuteronomy 6 and verse 4. Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. The Most High is bringing back.
What's the title?
The title is going to be the Feast of Purim. So we're going over the holy day of Purim. All right. Read where you at.
Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
Right.
And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart.
Come on.
And with all thy soul. And with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart.
Right.
And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
See, because here it is. Teach them what? See, we got to understand, what are we teaching our kids diligently? We know as growing up, our parents didn't teach us nothing. Nothing. We didn't have any laws and statutes. We didn't have the Feast of Tabernacles. We didn't have the understanding of how Purim came about. All we knew was about how to, get straight A's in school, go to college, and get a good job. That's it. Live a moral life. But what is moral? What is morality? We didn't know that. But now with the Bible, things are coming back to our remembrance. So now we can teach our kids like the Feast of Purim. We can tell them what specifically took, what happened to Esther, to Mordecai, to these individuals for Purim to be instituted. Read.
and shall talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way.
Yeah, this is real. This is real history, as they say, black history, brown pride history, Native American history. This is real history. And this is what you're going to talk to your kids about while they're walking in the house. Listen, how they got saved, man. How they were saved from their enemies. We've been saved multiple times, but this was a specific situation. Read.
And when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
Right, you're not going to be talking about Cardi B at the rodeo, and you're not going to be talking about the Kardashians and what they got going on. And dang, you heard Black China? Black China's with YBN Young Rich Boy, whatever his name is. No, you're going to be talking about the feast. You're going to be talking about the laws, the statutes, our customs, the clothes that we wore. Listen, you're going to be talking about how they arrayed the feast. Man, they had purple on the ground, gold on the ground, black on the ground. Yeah. Our people was classy, man. Took showers too. We weren't beastly people. Had dreadlocks, gold teeth. That's what you're going to be talking about with your kids. Read.
And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand.
And that's it. But this book, we have to be in the mindset and understand that we're coming back to this. We need to dig deep and understand. Give me Deuteronomy 32 and 7. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7, just to set the vibe of the class and understand that we're brand new, man. A lot of people online, a lot of people in class, they never celebrated Purim. This is going to be their first Feast of Purim. Okay. Literally, But let's truly understand what Purim is. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 7. Remember the days of old.
See, the scripture says, do what?
Remember the days of old.
We have to. We have to sit back and actually look back of the past history. Because that's real history, man. We go to school. You go to college. You go to high school. What do they teach you? Revolutionary history. The institution of the United States. The Pilgrims. They don't really teach you anything. We get taught about everybody else's history. Napoleon. I'm about to say Napoleon Dynamite. Napoleon, what is his name? Who is it?
Napoleon Bonaparte?
Yeah, that guy, that little short guy. Okay. We're not learning about the prophets. We're not learning about Christ, his lineage. We're not learning about the battles that went down, where the Most High was slaying other nations. We're not learning that. We're learning garbageness that has nothing to do with us. Read.
Consider the years of many generations.
We have to. Most people only consider what's going on now. That's all they know about. But the scripture says nothing is new under the sun. So it would make you want to think back and, dang, I wonder what was going on back then. How was our people being treated? Is it the same? How did they get through their battles? Let me do what they did. Let me stand on the backs of giants. That's what we're doing here. We're remembering the days of old and considering the years of many generations. Read.
Ask thy father, and he will show thee.
Yeah, see, but a lot of our fathers, man, what do they know? Well, listen, son, all I know, I just kept my head down, and I just did what I had to do. That's really what it is. Or they'll tell you about, the race riots in Cali. You know what I'm saying? They'll talk about the hanging and lynching of black and Hispanics, Native Americans, at a mass number. But what real history, man? Can they go back in the Bible and show us? This is what we're getting back. Read.
Thy elders, and they will tell thee.
Come on, man. What are they going to tell us about? See, but that's why we have this knowledge. It's almost like that movie. Y'all remember the movie Cloud Atlas? Who saw the movie Cloud Atlas? Oh, y'all got to see that. Tom Hanks at the end, man, he went through all this craziness. You seen Cloud Atlas?
A little bit.
Y'all slipping, man. It's a good movie. It's like a 3-hour movie, but at the end, Tom Hanks was teaching his children what happened, man, back in the days. All the things that they went through. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing now, because we understand that the Bible, they had an oral tradition, so they talked a lot. They sat their kids down. When you had Noah had to teach his kids and grandchildren all the way down to understand what happened before the flood. How do you think they knew about all of it? They spoke about it, but it's the same thing what we're getting. We're getting the information to teach our children, generation after generation. Give me Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16. Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16. Because this is important, man. We have to understand that these feasts, the Old Testament, the New Testament, It all comes together. It's important, man. This is our history. Read where you at.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths.
Read that again a little bit louder.
Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths.
Yeah, ask for the old paths. What did our people go through other than slavery? There was something way before slavery. What happened before we got on these boats? That's what I want to know. Everybody try to talk about the boat and after. Please. I know about destruction, hanging over the trail with the sharks, all that good stuff, blood in the water. No. Let me understand who we were before the slave ships.
Right.
You say we kings and queens. Well, I want to know specifically who and what.
Right.
We got to see that. But the scriptures is letting us know who we are, man. Read.
Where is the good ways, and walk therein?
Read that again.
Where is the good way?
Yeah, see, we got to start looking in the old paths and walking in their steps and understanding what was the good way. What made our people prosperous, man? What made our people get through the battle of their enemies coming against them and want to slaughter them just like they're doing today?
Right.
What did they institute? What did they do? Because believe, they want to kill us today. Our enemies want to kill us, man. Read.
And ye shall find rest for your souls.
Come on, man. Who don't want rest?
Oh, can I?
Go ahead.
Go to Esther in the Apocrypha, chapter 13, verse 7. Just on that point that you made, our enemies, they want to kill us, right? Showing that they wanted to kill us then, and they want to kill us now.
Right.
Nothing's changed. But yeah, who got that? Esther chapter 13, verse 7.
Esther chapter 13, verse 7. That they who of old and now also are malicious.
Yeah, so they who are of old, even them back then, you knew they wanted to kill us. How they did us during slavery, how they did us whenever they conquered our lands.
Listen, the Trail of Tears, man. How that you just murdering Indians.
No reason.
Yeah, you going down there stealing gold. It's crazy.
Yeah. But them of old, they're the same people. Read it from the top.
That they who of old and now also.
And what? And now, right? It said them who are of old and what?
Now also are malicious.
So back then they were malicious, and even now they're still malicious. Read.
May in one day with violence go into the grave.
Yeah, but one day with violence they shall go into the grave, though. One day with violence they will go into the grave. But yeah, that wasn't on that part. That wasn't on that part.
Yeah, man, because we have to see and understand what's going on, man, from the days of old to now. Give me Psalms 40 and 7. Psalm chapter 40 and verse 7, because you have a lot of Christians that like to say that, oh, listen, the Old Testament's done away with. How is history done away with? Where does that come from? The Old Testament is done away with. Please, show me where that says that in the scripture. Show me where it says that we shouldn't be reading our history. Whenever Christ said he was reading out the book of Isaiah. Come on, man. Read where you at.
Psalm chapter 40, verse 7.
Read a little bit stronger and powerful and clear for the people.
Come. Then said I, lo, I come. In the volume of the book it is written of me.
Read that again.
Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book it is written of me.
See, we know that Christ comes in the volume of this book, man. It's all applicable. The whole Bible. That's how we know about the Feast of Purim. That's how we know about what happened to our people. What they went through. Give me 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 16. 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 16, because we have to look. We're gaining back the knowledge, man. And this is our strength, man, because the nations, the world, they got all that, man. They got their statues. They have their documents. Oh, yeah, I'm from the Galapagos Islands, and you know, I was established here. My family, they got the riches. They're actually King George's second sister. You know, they have all that. What do we have? Bro, we have our nearest kin. That's all we really know. You got most that know that they came from the border, and that is it. Nothing before that. A lot of them don't even know if they Aztecs, Mayans, Toltecs, Judah, Benjamin, Levi. They don't know that. We don't know where we truly come from. But everybody else, they have They have their festival days. They have their days that they uphold. When you deal with the Chinese New Year. Good for you. But we don't. We're coming back to the knowledge of it. But read where you at.
2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 16. All scripture is given by inspiration of God.
Some scripture.
All scripture is given by inspiration of God.
And we got to see that these Old Testament scriptures, these scriptures in Esther, is given by inspiration, man. It's given to give us a help in our life. A guide. Read.
And is profitable for doctrine.
Come on, profitable to be used in our life. Read.
For reproof, for correction.
Yeah, reproof and correction. Correcting you in your errors. These, it's like, there's a lot of sayings. One saying says, you can either learn the easy way or the hard way. You can learn from somebody else's mistake, or you can make the mistake. To be honest, I'd rather learn from somebody else's mistake. Plain and simple. That brother took that left turn. You know what? I'm gonna go the right way. I'm not gonna go that left route. It's the same thing when you deal with these scriptures and you deal with these stories. These stories are extremely important, and you'll have to listen to each detail. And that's why we're going through this story of Purim and Esther. But we're gonna break down scripture after scripture, showing the specific things that we have to look at. A lot of things that they were going through, we're going through now. Nothing different, just at a different time. Keep reading.
For instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works.
Yeah, come on, man. There's good examples in this Bible, and Esther is one of them. We're seeing why the Most High chose Esther. Why he put her up to save the Jews, to be a savior. Think about it. It's a female. This is a female savior. But she did. So with that, give me Esther chapter 1 and verse 1. Esther chapter 1 and verse 1. And we're going to get into this story regarding Purim, man. This is a beautiful high holy day, man, that our people was saved. But now we're going to learn the details of what was going on. Because I know everybody knows about Esther, right? Oh, we got one in the back. You don't know about Esther? There it is. See, that's why this class is needed. And for those online with the questions regarding Purim. All right, so we're going to try to get through this class. We got about 2.5 hours, and we're gonna tread through this. If anybody has any questions,
you want it in the Bible or the Apocrypha?
No, give me the Bible. If anybody has any questions, you can ask. Preferably on topic. All right. They said the Old Testament is done away with to keep us in sin and to live as we choose. That's true. Nobody wants to live by a standard. But we're going to see in the Bible that the Israelites, the Jews, had a standard, man. We were different from everybody. But read where you at.
Esther chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the day of Ahasuerus.
Now what I want you to do is when you read this, I want you to read a little bit louder and a lot slower. All right?
Come. Yeah.
A lot slower because we're not in a rush. We want people to hear this clearly on the airwaves. All right?
Come.
Go ahead.
This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 170 and 20 provinces.
Right. So this is a king, man. Ahasuerus. He is a king of the Persian Empire, man. Persian means empire. Now this empire, the name Ahasuerus is going to be common for the Persians. So there was 3 of them. So this is just like a king's name, like President Bush, president. That's all that is. This man is actually Cyrus, all right? But his name is, in this book, is Ahasuerus, all right? And it said that he was over 170, what was it? 172?
120 provinces.
Oh yeah, 72 provinces, man. So he was a king over a lot.
It's over 107 and 20 provinces. Oh, it's 127 provinces. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
That in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants. The power of Persia and Media and the nobles and princes and provinces being before him, when he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom, the honor and his excellence, majesty's many days.
Yeah, so he was showing off, man.
Yeah.
He was like, listen, we finna have a feast. Listen, bring all the turkey. Bring all the Bibles, huh?
No, I was saying bring it all.
Yeah, bring it all. Get the crown royal, as they're gonna say. Bring the drink, the hooch, yayan. You know, bring all the side dishes. Why? I'm gonna show you how luxurious my kingdom is, man.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he was dripping.
Oh yeah.
That's a new term for today. He was dripping. He was flexing.
Right. That's awesome. You know, one thing about this king is that the Most High brought him up, man. Put him up.
Right.
He blessed him, man. But as you see, he was trying to show that off. And this is what's going on right here. Read.
Even 104 days.
Right. 104 days. Does anybody know what that number is? 104 score. 180. You got the 100. The square is 20 times 4 is 80. 180. So he had a 180-day party. Think about that. Went down. That's like a half a year. Right? It's what, 165 days in a year? Or 365 days?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Ahasuerus was on 10. Probably had the chariots sliding out. You know, the little races, the games. I'm going to show you what's going on. This is the, you gotta in your mind, you gotta picture this as a story, man. You gotta start seeing this widespread kingdom, beautiful. You know, prospering, food, everybody smiling, you know. This is where we're at that time. Read.
And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan, the palace.
Yeah, when you deal with Shushan, man, you know, again, the Bible is real. These places are real. When you deal with Shushan, Shushan is in present-day Iran. It's a province of Iran. It's technically east of Israel, and Afghanistan is to its right. So you got Iran in the middle, you got Israel, Egypt, and all down there. Then you have Afghanistan to its other side. It's right in the middle. So this is present-day Iran when it talks about Shushan, the palace. All right. Keep going.
Both unto great and small 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace. Where were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen and purple to silver rings and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver upon a pavement of red and blue and white and black marble.
Listen, it said the beds were of silver and gold. Whoever thought about having a silver and a gold bed?
Right.
Yeah, man, this guy was definitely showing off. He was definitely flexing. Go ahead.
And they gave them drink in vessels of gold, and vessels being diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance, according to the states of the king.
But this is one thing that we got to remember too. Like, all this is going on, all this showing off, and this flexing by this king is going on, but we were slaves at this time.
Yep.
So y'all got to see it too. We weren't the ones that were enjoying this. We were the slaves. So we weren't the ones on the silver and the gold bed. We were the ones probably making the silver and gold bed. We weren't the ones getting the gold vessels with wine in it. We were the ones probably serving it. Because at this time, we were the slaves. We were the servants to this place.
Yeah, and it's sad because we were getting tossed around. When you deal with history, the Persian and the Medes took over rulership from the Babylonians in 538 BC. So we were getting tossed around. Listen, we were in captivity under the Babylonians for 38 years. 38 years, and then we went into captivity to the Persian and the Medes. Oh, we were stiff-necked. The Most High was like, bro, I'm about to whoop the hell out y'all. Y'all gonna know it's me. But we went to the Persian and the Medes now, and that's what captivity we're under. The Persian and the Medes. All right? Keep reading.
Ezra chapter 1 verse 8. And the drinking was according to the law. None did compel. For so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house, that they should do according to every man's pleasure.
Right, and when it says that none did compel, so it wasn't like you were being forced to drink. You weren't forced to drink. It's whatever you wanted to, man. You know, so compel means to basically like you're telling somebody to do something. But keep reading.
Also, Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus.
Yeah, you got to see this, man. This is his wife, Vashti. You know, King Ahasuerus, he already set forth the 180-day feast in the land. Then he did another one that last another feast unto the people that were present in Shushan in the palace. So you got to see that Vashti was like, listen, I'm gonna have to one you up. I'm gonna have to go ahead and do a feast too for the women in the palace, man. You know what I mean, you got all the parties. I'm gonna have a party too. So you're seeing what kind of spirit Vashti has on her. She wants to have the same kind of reign as the king does, as her husband.
God.
Right? Read. Verse
10. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mahuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zethar, and Carcas, and 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty.
Yeah, you got to see that. You know, Vashti was just like that. What do they call it in the world? They call them a trophy. What is it when you got like a... Huh? Yes, a trophy wife. That's basically what he's trying to do. He's trying to show off Vashti for her beauty. They say Vashti was the most beautiful woman in the province. Right? Well, let's see what this beautiful woman was doing. Read.
For she was fair to look on. But the Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment.
She did what?
Refused to come at the king's commandment.
Like, nigga, please. I ain't finna come out there to show me and to flaunt me off. I ain't finna do that. But think about it though. But the king was like, listen, she's beautiful, guys. My wife. Call her. Call Vashti. Man, Vashti's like, nigga, please. You may be the king, but you ain't king over me. You are not king over me. Give me Proverbs 31 and 30. Proverbs 31 and 30, because, you know, that's the way the world is now.
God, absolutely.
Listen, all these little girls, all these little boys trying to walk around, just trying to look extra fly. You got to have the tightest chains on your neck. You got to have the tightest jeans on your legs. The most grandfatherish shoes on your feet. Balenciaga, dad shoes, Pumas. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the utmost to look a certain way. But what does the scripture say?
Proverbs chapter 31, verse 30. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain.
Beauty is what?
Vain.
Yeah, beauty is vain. Look at Vashti. Vashti rejected the king. Like, nigga, nah, I'm fine as hell, but I'm not coming out. Finna show me off. You don't run this. Read.
But a woman that feared the Lord, she shall be praised.
Yeah, and as we start reading more into King Ahasuerus, listen, he was honoring the scriptures, man. He was reading the scriptures. But Vashti wasn't on the same level. Her mind wasn't there, man. Give me Ecclesiastes 25 and 2. Because this is one mess up of the king. And it's a lot of a mess up for ourselves as well, men and women. We see that young stallion in the gym, man or female. Ooh, that brother got some muscles. Ooh, hitting them curls. Ooh, you see him on that pull-up bar, girl? Golly. Yeah. When we start talking to him, start dealing with him, garbo. Same thing for the women. Why? Because beauty is vain. Read where you at.
Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 2.
21. 25 and 21.
Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman.
Yeah, that's the same thing for the women too. Stumble not at the beauty of a man. But the king, he was like, shoot, I need Vashti. Vashti is hot fire. That's like who's everybody slobbering over today?
Probably Cardi B.
Yeah, you got Cardi B, but I'm trying. Who's some other little youngsters, man? You got LMA. The singer Ella May. Everybody like, ooh, Ella May so fine. Man, please, she probably a demon. Come on, man. The scripture says what?
Stumble not at the beauty of a woman.
Yeah, man, because that's exactly what he did. King, he messed up off top. Keep reading.
And desire her not for pleasure.
Yeah, come on, man. And that's in our relationships today, man. The people got to understand that beauty will number one, that goes, man. Listen, you get in a relationship, shit. Y'all, excuse the language. Y'all get married, start to eat. You having Whataburger at nighttime. You know what I mean? Cool run-ins.
So y'all doing this with the Whataburger sandwich?
Right. Y'all, yeah. You gonna eat those fries? Get some of the fries. Man, that body gonna be gone. Shoot. Start doing a little work, giving some rides, sewing some clothes. Shoot. Stress gonna start coming, pimples gonna start popping up. Shoot. You be like, man, who is this? Spirits off. Listen, beauty is vain. That is not what we should be looking at. You know, for a spouse, for a mate, and we see that the king slipped up with Vashti, man. But let's continue on in Esther to see how she was moving and grooving. Give me start at verse 11 again.
Come on. Verse 12 is verse 12. But the Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlain. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Right. Burned in him.
Right. Yeah, he was mad. He was mad because she said, "Hell no, listen, tell the king I ain't coming out." That's basically what she said. Because she sent them right back. Like, listen, King. Vashti said she wasn't coming. The king was like, "Oh hell no," and he was drinking too. Oh, I know he was hot. He probably started throwing up stuff and freaking out. But I'm going to show you something. Give me Ecclesiastes 26 and 26. Because the thing about it is that I know he probably gassed them up. Ooh, listen. Ooh, wait till you see Vashti. Y'all thought y'all had something hot. Wait till Vashti come out. Read where you at.
Ecclesiastes chapter 26, verse 26. A woman that honored her husband shall be judged wise of all.
Yeah, see, but Vashti, listen, they weren't looking at Vashti like that. They was like, oh, hell no, this little disrespectful, not nose, butted head looking woman is disrespectful. She gonna disrespect the king like that? Oh, heck no. Her name is going to, we know who she is now. Oh, we see her cards. Oh, she thinks she hot stuff, huh? Hot mama. But read that again.
But she that dishonored him and her pride shall be counted ungodly of all.
Right, come on, man. Oh, my apologies. It was the first precept. Yeah, but read that second precept again.
But she that dishonored him and her pride shall be counted ungodly of all.
Right, man. Ungodly, man. Why? Because the things that you do, the small disrespect remarks. Your husband tell you to do something, you're like, nah, I ain't gonna do it that. Why? The scripture says what?
But she that dishonored him and her pride shall be counted ungodly of all.
In her pride, Vashti was prideful. Think about it. This is the king. He got everything. Listen, you wearing Gucci, Fendi, Prada, gold, diamonds, sapphire. You probably don't even walk.
Probably get carried.
You get carried. And you mean to tell me you gonna refuse the king? Oh, you must be. Listen, that pride demon was times 100. Priest Shia says 50-11 demons. She must have had demons on her, man. Think about it.
Right.
What you want to get, man?
Let's get Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 22. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 22.
Because we're seeing, and just on this point, we're seeing. No, go ahead, keep standing up. We're seeing that Vashti is on this prideful level. We're going to see what Esther was, man. It's showing us this for a reason, man. It's showing us how we should be. The image, man. You see, you're going to be prideful or humble, but what is the Most High respect? Go ahead.
Verse 22, go ahead.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands.
Wives do what?
Submit yourselves unto your own husbands.
So imagine, this is a king and a queen. The queen wouldn't even submit herself to the king. So think of how crazy that is. And think about right now, us as Israelites coming back to our rightful place in this world, to our rightful status, we gotta have our wives submit to us, because it shows that example, and also it shows why. It shows the order, not why. It shows the order that the Most High has set up. But it says, wives, be subject to your own what?
Husbands.
As what? Go ahead.
As unto the Lord.
Because that's the order of it. And we're going to hit that too. We're going to hit the order of it. But it's the order of how things are set up. So when you think about King Ahasuerus and his Queen Vashti, all he did was call her. That's it. That's something simple. And she wouldn't even come for that. It's not like he told her, listen, go do this. All he did was call her. So imagine how far gone this woman was. But it's going to show the example. When we keep reading the story, it's going to show the difference between Vashti and Esther. And you're going to see another reason too why the king loved Esther so much. It wasn't just her beauty. Go ahead. I mean, what's up, Allison?
I think also about the scripture in Ecclesiastes 26 and 14.
Somebody get Ecclesiastes 26 and 14, please.
Ecclesiastes chapter 26, verse 14.
So you brought this out because
she was given an instruction and she didn't follow it.
Okay. Read that.
A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord.
Ooh. Keep reading.
And there is nothing so much work as a mind well instructed.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do. She'd have been in the house, had all the riches. Oh, king wants me? Come on.
What do you need? Right.
Listen, she don't work. I bet money she wasn't sewing. She wasn't doing no garments. Wasn't giving rides. You wasn't calling sisters to see how they were doing. You weren't, counseling with other sisters. You weren't doing that. She wasn't doing that. She was like, no. But the scripture says a silent what? Read that again.
God. But a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord. And there is nothing so much work as a mind well instructed.
Oh, definitely. But you got to see that. Listen, Vashti's about to get replaced real quick. Real quick. But it shows how the Most High, listen, he don't respect that. The Most High don't respect prideful, loud mouth. Listen, woman or man, both sides. But in this situation, it was a female, man. And all she had to do was follow the king.
Go
back to Esther, chapter 1 and verse 12.
But the Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlain. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
They said it burned in him. He was elated. Read.
Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner towards all that knew law and judgment.
Yeah, so he had to go to the wise men of the land. Listen, I need some counsel. I need some help because this chick here, listen, I'm about to lose it. I'm partying for 180 days. And you mean to tell me you got a problem with coming to see me? Read.
And the next unto him was Karshina, Shethar, Adarmathar, Tarshish,
there it is.
Mires, Marshna, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face and which sat the first in the kingdom.
You know what's dope about it too? It's showing this is the king. This is the head. This is the head honcho. This is the top dog. Even he gets counsel before he makes a move. When a situation happens, even he's humble enough to at least say, man, listen, let me call my 7, what did it say?
Princes.
Let me call my 7 princes and see what the matter of the law and judgment is. Let me go and get counsel and see, man, how do I make this move with this chick? Because right now I just want to cut her head off. But let me see what they say. Go ahead.
Verse 15. What shall we do unto the Queen Vashti according to the law?
According to the what?
According to the law.
Yeah, he was a law-abiding citizen, man. It's beautiful. Most men don't care, especially kings and rulers. Remember, this is not an Israelite or Hebrew man. This is the king of Persia. So again, we're in captivity, but he's still being mindful. He applies scriptures.
God.
Read.
Because she hath not performed the commandments of the king Ahasuerus, by the chamberlain.
Right, because he sent the chamberlains to go tell her. Read.
And Memuscan answered before the king and the princess, Vashti the queen had not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the King Ahasuerus.
Hold on, read that again.
And Memuscan answered before the king and the princess, Vashti the queen had not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the King Ahasuerus.
Yeah, they were showing like, listen, she offended everybody. Why? This is the queen. She's a head honcho. Everybody's looking at her as an example. So you mean to tell me now she gets to act, the queen is acting like this, she acts disrespectful. Everybody will be like, well, shoot, I'm going to do the same thing.
Exactly.
You know how everybody's a bandwagoner? Listen, you do it, I'm going to do it. You say that, I can say that. That's exactly what they're saying. It's like, man, listen, Vashti's about to cause chaos throughout the whole kingdom.
Listen, let me get 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1 on that point too. Because it's so, when you really think about it, and the next verse in Esther is going to tell you too, but you know, a lot of times I believe our wives, and just sisters in general, we take it as a small thing about the order that the Most High laid down, where it's God, Christ, man, wife, and the kids. Sometimes I believe our women take it lightly, but it's understandable because we're coming from America, we're coming from our captivity where the white man actually does that to his woman, and that's why their houses fall apart and their whole world. But our women got to see the importance of it. Read this, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1.
1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands.
Be in subjection to your own what?
Husbands.
Husbands, go ahead.
That if any obey not the word.
And this is the point, that if any obey not the word, if anybody believe, they don't believe in the word. They don't see what we're doing as being as us doing the truth. Read.
They also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wise.
Read that part again.
They also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wise.
So yeah, they might not believe in the word. They might still believe in white Jesus and believe that the laws are done away with and all that. But when they see how you treat your husband and how you treat your kids and how your house is in order, because ain't no arguing, he tell you to do something, you just do it, and how the house just functions, they look at you as that example and they're like, oh, well, I mean, you believe in this, it might work. How many of our people look at Islam, look at the Muslims and see how their wives carry themselves and they're like, it gotta be some truth to that. Because they see how their wives, how they dress, how they carry themselves, how they're in subjection to their own husbands.
Nah, they be like, nah, that thing ain't gonna make me dress like that.
Yeah, that's how our women act. But when they see them, just from that, you'll look at them, you'll look at a Muslim woman and you'll be like, oh man, they must have it right. Look at how their women act. That's without you even knowing the Quran. You look at the wife and you're like, oh man, yeah, that there's got to be something true to that. But see, that's how it's supposed to be with us though. They're supposed to look at you and be like, oh man, look at how she carries herself. She dresses differently. She talks differently. Look at how she carries herself with her husband. Look at how her kids are.
Deuteronomy 4:6.
Look at how the house functions. They should be able to look at that and be like, man, even without the word, even without the book, they should look and be like, man, it's real. That's the word. Allison, you gonna say something real quick?
I just had a quick definition of subjection. The state of being under the power, control, and government of another.
Oh, can you read that one more time, please?
The state of being under the power, control, and government of another.
Right. The state of being under power, control, or government of another. You know, and the thing about it is that that's what pride does to you, man. You like, nah, I ain't gotta do that. I want to do what I want to do. That's why the Most High had to smash her and all other prideful individuals. You can hold that. You can hold that Deuteronomy 4:6. But yeah, like the brother was saying, is that we should be looked like that amongst the nations, you know. But I'm gonna give you a little bit more insight regarding Vashti, real quick, before we get off her. This is coming out of the Josephus, all right? This is Josephus, book 11, chapter 6. This is going to be page 198 in the blue book, all right? You can jump down to, I believe it's going to be like verse 190 on here. Read on down. It says, in like manner did Vashti the queen gather her guests together. Because remember, we understood that the king did a 180-day feast day. And then he had another one for the inner court, right? For the palace in Shushan. But she went ahead and actually orchestrated a feast within her little realm, right? Let's keep reading. And made a feast in the palace. Now the king was desirous to show her, who exceeded all other women in beauty, to those that feasted with him. And he sent some to command her to come to his feast. So he commanded her, all right? But she, out of regard to the laws of the Persians, which forbid the wives to be seen by strangers, did not go to the king. And though he oftentimes sent the eunuchs to her, she did nevertheless stay away and refused to come. But you got to see this. Listen, but she just had a party. If she wasn't supposed to have strangers around her, why she got a party in the palace? You know what I mean? She got a party, but she don't want to go see the king's inner circle because everybody didn't get to see the king. That's why when you read in a lot of the Kings and the Chronicles, you hear about individuals being outside the gate or at the gate. Yeah, they weren't permitted to come inside the gate, getting close to the king. When it said that his princes saw his face, they were face to face with him, speaking with him, like when you do with Marco Polo. When you deal with the Chinese guy, whatever his name was. What was his name? Genghis Khan. But he had his counselors right there that was able to talk back and forth, right? Everybody didn't get to have that. You know, but Vashti had cats all around her. Alright? But it said, she did nevertheless stay away and refused to come. Till the king was so much irritated that he broke up the entertainment and rose up. This man was like, listen, stop the music. Stop it.
You heard that scratch?
He was like, listen, this disrespectful. Well, listen, something has to happen. Let's go deeper. It says, and called for those 7 who had the interpretation of the laws committed to them, and accused his wife, and said that he had been afforded by her. Oh no, he had been affronted by her, because that when she was frequently called by him to his feast, she did not obey him once. He said frequently. So she ain't never come out. Yeah, she was highly disrespectful. He therefore gave order that they should inform him what could be done by the law against her. So one of them, whose name was Mukakin, said that this affront was offered not to him alone, but to all the Persians. Just like the scripture says, is that she didn't disrespect the king only, but the whole kingdom. But let's see why. Who were in danger of leading their lives very ill with their wives, if they must be thus despised by them. Because that's what it showed. It showed the disrespect that Vashti had for the king, to where it shows the disrespect, man. But it says, for that none of their wives would have any reverence for their husbands, if they had such an example of arrogance, and the queen towards thee, who rulest over all. And that's why they had to check Vashti, man. That's why he was like, listen, we got to come together and understand what's going on with this situation, because this might be a bigger outbreak. This might be an epidemic to where everybody just wants to be like, you know what? F you, husband. I'm going to do me. It's me, boo-boo. I'm about to wear pants. I'm about to have my shirt off my arm. I'm going to have my hair flowing. Everybody can look at me. Why? Vashti was on that extreme pride tip. But reading on, accordingly, he exhorted him to punish her, who had been guilty of so great an affront to him, after a severe manner. And when he had so done, to publish to the nations what had been decreed about the queen. And you got to see that it said it was a severe manner. But think about it. How many times do the wives talk back to the husbands? And I'm talking about in a disrespectful way. I'm not talking about like, oh yeah, okay, I'll do that. No. I'm talking about you over here raising your voice. You can't tell me what to do. Why don't you? Your husband's like, listen, babe, I want you to do this. Listen, can you bring over the kids over here? Why I gotta bring them over at that time? It's like, okay, I was actually bring the kids over at that time. But think about it. Vashti just said no. You know what I'm saying? But that was a severe manner. Why? Because that, again, wives be subjection unto your husbands. Subjection. The state of being under the authority of what? What's that definition again?
The state of being under the power, control, and government of another.
Yeah, under the power, control, of government under another. Right. You know, and Vashti, she wasn't about that, man. She was about her beauty. Vashti wanted to party. She's like, you partying, I'm a party. I look good, I look good. You know what I'm saying? She didn't care. But where we at?
It's, we're at verse 17. We're at 17 or 18? Verse 17 or 18.
Here we go.
Esther?
17. No, yeah, Esther. Esther chapter 1, verse 17.
Yeah, jump right back into it, verse 17.
Verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes.
They shall do what?
Despise their husbands in their eyes.
What does that sound like? What does that sound like? That they'll despise their husband in their eyes, just off of Vashti's example. Yeah. No, what does it sound like though?
Mama did it.
No, it sounds like Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 54. Read that. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 54 goes back to the curses, man. That's our curse. Whenever you get out of line with your husband, you know what I'm saying? You're back in the curses. Why? Now you done pissed him off because you disrespected him. Now he's mad at you. Now his eye is evil towards you. Then what happened? He's like, man, listen, man, bump all this. I gotta roll. Leave the kids too. 54. Yeah. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 54.
So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom.
Yeah, jump to 56. My apologies. 56.
Verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for the delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom.
Why? It's pride. Vashti had pride upon her. And the king's council was like, listen, we can't allow this to spread. We cannot allow this to continue to be heard throughout the land as if that's okay. Keep reading.
And toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet.
Yeah, man, because, you know, again, this disdain for government, for subjection, it had to be killed. And that's why Vashti was dealt the way that she was. Read verse 18 and back in Esther.
God, likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the kings, princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. Verse 19.
Right, think about it, man. It said, because of this deed, because they heard the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. Because they want, listen, they was waiting for somebody to act. Oh, Vashti did it. The rebellion has started. Rebellion has started. Right. Women's suffrage. Women's rights.
Feminism.
Right, feminism. We can wear the pants now. Oh, you thought you had a good job? I'm going to be your boss. The things ain't nothing wrong with that. Women having a good position. We're not saying that. We're not saying that, women need to be in just treated like a dog. No. But there's order. And Vashti should have been at subjection to the priest to the king to do what he wanted.
Go ahead.
I got one too. Go ahead.
Give me Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 2. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 2. And you'll see why it was very important for them to make a move on Vashti. Because think about it, Vashti was the queen. You got Ahasuerus the king, Vashti is the queen. These are the ones that are ruling your nation. So read Ecclesiastes 10 and 2.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers.
So if the king and the queen can't agree, if they are having contention on something as small as that,
right,
then how's the rest of the land going to be?
Oh yeah.
And that's why they're making the move that they're making now on Vashti. Read.
And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
Such are all they that dwell therein. That's why they're like, yeah, we got to get her out the way. We can't let. You know, it's like the scripture says in Revelations, spirits jump like frogs. You got the people looking up at the king and the queen, and they see that. They don't want to. You don't want as the king for your whole nation to be like that, where it's like word gets out to other kings. Oh yeah, his queen just punked him.
Right.
You ain't seen that? She just punked him.
This nigga's weak.
God. If you would have just made that go by, other nations would have been like, yeah, if the queen can punk him, shoot, we can punk him.
Yeah.
Let's go in there and take all his riches, all his land, all his women.
Right.
And oh, you got the Hebrews and slaves too. We'll take them too.
Right.
So y'all got to see it, man.
Jump back to verse 19. Esther 1 and verse 19.
Come, if it please the king, let there go.
I'm going to read a little louder, man. You kind of read on a monotone. Got to bring it up a little bit.
Come, if it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him.
There it is.
And let it be written among the law of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before the king.
She do what?
She come no more before the king. Ahasuerus.
Yeah, think about it. He was like, listen, I'm done with her, man. Disrespect. I'm the king. I got the pick of anything. I am the king of Persia and the Medes. I mean, you ain't gonna come see me. Please. Read.
And let the king give her royal estate unto another, that it is better than she.
Come on, man.
And when the king decree which he shall make.
Yeah, but hold on. That point in 19. Read that again. That last point.
That Vashti come no more before the king Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another, that is better than she.
Yeah, why? Because she didn't know basic principles, man. She was prideful, and that's why Esther had to step in. The Hebrew. Esther was a Hebrew, man. She was an Israelite. That's why she had to come in and show the world how we roll. The meekness, the being humble. Because Vashti was a demon, man. Pride. He was like, man, I'm done with her. Give me Ecclesiastes 25 and 26. Because that was law. There wasn't nothing bad about that. Y'all got to see that, man. Especially women, man. Women are so cocky. Leave me then, all right? You're going to be out there in the trenches with Tom, Hank, and Larry.
It's like what Beyonce said in her song.
I can have another you in a minute. Matter of fact, kill me here.
Whenever you leave, whatever.
Oh, that was Beyonce?
Yeah, that was her song. Yeah, To the Love. She was like, I can have another you in a minute. Matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute.
Right.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, for that long. For momentarily. But read where you at.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 25. Verse 26. If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh.
That's exactly what the king did. Disrespectful. What you think this is, man? I'm the king. You got to go. And that's exactly what he did in verse 19. It says, and let the king give her a royal estate unto another that is better than she. Continue to read in Esther.
Verse 20. And when the king decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great. All the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small.
Yeah, man, just because Vashti did that, listen, Vashti does not represent the standard, man.
God.
And y'all gotta see that. A lot of times our minds, we go into this, like, my standard is the universal standard. No. Your standard might not be part what your husband's standard is for you. You know what I'm saying? Brother's standard. Your standard might not be at part the school that you're at, the brothers that you're around. You got to bring that up a little bit. There's a higher standard. No, there's nothing wrong with that. We're trying to get the perfection of ourselves, man. But Vashti, listen, she couldn't be around anymore. Her standard was not the example. And that's why I said her example was going to cause havoc in the kingdom. Read that verse 20 again.
And when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small.
Yeah, both great and small. They had to do Vashti like that. It's like there was a, I ain't gonna bring his name out. There was a rapper in Houston, man. Did something wrong? Shoot, they put all these flyers up so everybody can see it. That ain't the standard. What he did was not right. They threw flyers up. Give me 1 Timothy 5 and 20. Max, pick up in Esther. Lamar, get that 1 Timothy 5 and 20.
1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 20. Them that sin rebuke before all.
Do what?
Rebuke before all.
Yeah, Vashti had to get rebuked in front of everybody. That decree had to go through the whole nation. This realm right here, Vashti's not the example. Read.
That others also may fear. I charge thee before God.
And that's what it was, man, so that others may fear. Go back to Esther 1 and 21.
Esther chapter 1 verse 21. And the same pleased the king and the princes. And the king did according to the word of Memucan. For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. And you got to see, he said after their language. There's many different nations in the Persians and Medes, man. They probably had a couple individuals, different nations captive, man. Especially Hebrews. We didn't speak Persian. We were Hebrew Israelites, man. We spoke Hebrew. Read. That every man should bear rule in his own house. That he should do what? Bear rule in his own house. Now the women should bear rule. Bear rule in his own house. Read. And that it should be published according to the language of every people. Yeah, that's how much of an example that Vashti did on the people, man. That's why you gotta watch out for your example. You gotta see what you do. A lot of people think that the moves that they make, the things that they say, that it has nobody's looking. No, that's an example. Especially if you got the Bible. People are looking at you. And you have to see how they had to clean this up, man. They had to put her on blast and be like, that ain't the example. Sorry. Read. Chapter 2 verse 1. Esther. Keep going. Esther chapter 2 verse 1. After these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased. Yeah, because he was hot. He was like, that disrespectful, no caring, loving wife of mine gots to go. And just for the sister that just came in, we're going over the Feast of Purim. So we just went over the topic really regarding Vashti and how she was just disrespectful and didn't obey the king. So now we're going into after him putting her away and bringing in Esther. But read verse 1. After these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servant. Go ahead. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. Let there be what? Fair young virgins sought for the king. Read that again. Fair young virgins sought for the king. Yeah, because he was like, listen, I ain't finna slip up. I ain't finna get a hard-headed knucklehead like Vashti again. He said a fair young virgin sought for the king. And this word virgin, it wasn't talking about just a young woman. It was talking about literally someone that has not been with a man. Give me Genesis 24 and 16. I'm going to show you how. Genesis chapter 24 and verse 16. This fair young virgin. The king said, listen, I ain't finna slip up. Give me something I can teach, bring up, pure. Because that was the standard, man. We need to deal with our customs. Even the Hebrews, we dealt with virgins. The priests dealt with virgins. That's why they had the dowry. Read where you at. Genesis chapter 24, verse 16. And the damsel was very fair to look upon. Right. A virgin. A what? A virgin. A what? A virgin. Read. Neither had any man known her. Neither had what? Any man known her. That's how you know that woman did not have sexual intercourse with a man. A man had not known her. Read. And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. Yeah, this is what the king was looking for. Very fair young
virgins. Exodus 22 and 16, just to back it up. Exodus 22 and verse 16. Because there were virgins at a point in time. Not like now. Everybody and their mom. It's wild out here, man. But our people had a standard. That's why we need to show our children about this, man. The standard of the women. The standard of the men. The standard of what Esther was in, man. Esther was a pure woman. A virgin. But read that.
Exodus chapter 23, verse 16. 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed.
That's not what?
Betrothed.
Read.
And lie with her. He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Yeah, man. He shall surely endow her. These virgins. Go back to Esther chapter 2 and verse 3. Because this is what the king was looking for.
And let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan.
Think about it, man. They had to go into all the provinces. It wasn't like you just going to the club and just pick out you something that you wanted to. No. He had to go far to get these rare jewels. That's what they were. That's why they had dowry. Rare jewels. Come on, man. That's why the virginity, man, you got to teach our daughters, you know, that, listen, your virginity is
precious.
Very precious, man. You know, not like the world, just you let anybody just hit it. Oh, I'm talking to him. What you mean you talking to him? What that mean? Oh, you know, we have sex. What you mean? That's the thing now. Oh, I talked to him. That's we talking. What? You know, talking, you like, oh, you just talking on the phone? Nah. I talked to 3 different men. I'm like, whoa, 3 different men. Y'all only have sex with one. Oh, okay. Golly. That ain't the standard, though. Read where you at.
Esther chapter 2, verse 3. And let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of Hedi, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women.
Yeah, so this was the real bachelor. This was the real bachelor going on right here, man. That's where they got that show from, man. Dirty dogs. They stay stealing from the Bible. It says bring them to, no, for real. It says they're bringing them to the palace. You got a bachelor. Who's the bachelor? King Ahasuerus. I need all the pharaohs. See, but think about the bachelor nowadays. Skeezers. No bueno. No standard. No, he was like, listen, you got to go far, find me something precious. Read.
Keeper of the women. And let their things for purification be given them. And let the maiden which pleases the king be queen instead of Vashti.
Right, and it said about the purification, verse 3, last precept, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given to them. It was a standard, man. And we're going to get more deeper into what this purification was. But the king wasn't just going to allow anybody to be around him. Who knows what kind of filth they was in. I'm not talking about just sexual. I'm just saying they could have been slaves. They could have been working hard in the bakery. They could have been out there in the cotton fields getting pricked by cotton. Now they bleeding, got sores on them. Who knows? He wanted to clean them up before they seen them. Before he seen them. Read.
And the thing pleased the king, and he did so.
Come on.
Verse 5. Now in Shushan, the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shemai, the son of Kish, a Benjamite.
A what?
A Benjamite.
Mordecai was a Benjamite. He was an Israelite. Let's read.
Who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away.
Yeah, you gotta see, we've been hopping from captivity to captivity. I'm talking about, you know, relationships. Shoot, Israel has been in multiple relationships in captivity. But just to show you on this point, give me 2 Chronicles 36 and 20. Just to give you a little history, man. You know, and this is what we got to do. This is what we have to be better at, is understanding our history. Understanding how these stories mingle into other precepts in the Bible, to other dates in history and time. This is real. You could search this and look it up. That's why they say when the Bible is written by a white man, please, this is history. And it ain't white history. 2 Chronicles chapter 36 and verse 20. Somebody get that? Go ahead.
Second Chronicles chapter 36 and verse 20. And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon.
Right. Where
they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia.
Yeah, you got to see. So Mordecai was carried away from Jerusalem, man. This man been in captivity all his life. They was in captivity for 36 years, or 36 years in the Babylon captivity, man. And then the Persian and the Medes took over Babylon, took over their reign in 538 BC. You can write that in your notes, you can look that up on your free time, something to study. But still, the Persian and the Medes took over the Jews, the Israelites, out of captivity from Babylon and brought them into their lands in 538 BC. Continue reading verse 7.
And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter.
Yeah, and Hadassah is actually Esther's Hebrew name, because Esther, I believe it's the meaning of it is a star, so it's really going into like I think it was Assyrian. Let me see. It was going into a different where's it at? Yeah, it goes deeper. Where are we at again?
Verse 7.
Esther chapter 2 and verse 7. Okay. Yeah, just to show her name, man. Where we at? Oh, star. Yeah. Oh, actually, it was Persian. So it was Persian Esther, but yeah, her Hebrew name was Hadassah. Keep reading.
And he brought up Hadassah.
Go ahead.
Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter.
Yeah, so we see that Esther, that her mother and father was murdered, all right? Her mother and her father was murdered, so Mordecai took her under his wing. Read.
So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women.
All right, read a little slower. No rush, no rush. Okay. But we're seeing that even Esther, she was a fair young virgin, beautiful, and she was brought into the court as well. But remember, she's a Hebrew, man, and we're gonna see that was the issue, but that'll be later on in the story. So she's brought to the palace, man, for the king's decree. He needs a new queen. The old one had to go. The new ones are coming in, but it's going into the purification process. Keep reading.
And the maiden pleased him. And she obtained kindness of him.
Right.
And he speedily gave her things for purification.
Right, man, because she was brought up right, man. She spoke with a soft tone, probably. You know, probably even look up. You know. She was very meek and mild. But that was the type of spirit that Esther had on her. Listen, that's how the Bible teaches our women to be. That's why it says we excel, man. With our knowledge. You go to Deuteronomy 4 and 6. But keep reading.
With such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house, and he preferred her and her maids to the best place of the house.
Right. So she got jazzed up. And which things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meant to be given her. So she had 7 servants around her, man, to help her with her purification process, getting the body right, eating. And we're going to see what is the purification process. Keep reading.
Oh, can I get
Go ahead.
Can I get 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 2? Just on this, because you got to see what separated Esther from all these other women.
Yep.
Remember, Vashti was a very beautiful queen as well. And remember, everybody that was being brought to King Ahasuerus was a beautiful young virgin. So what made Esther separate from all these other crap? What made Esther separate from all these other young virgins that was being brought to him? Go ahead, read.
Well, it's a lot. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 2. While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear.
Why? Because Esther had a different conversation than all these other queens, than all these other princesses that were being brought to the king. Read.
Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or putting on of apparel.
Yeah, every lady that was there was beautiful. Every one of them had their hair done, was going through the purification process.
Right.
They were being brought to the king. So you were brought to the king looking a certain way. Right. You couldn't just come a certain type of way to the king. Nah, you had to get yourself together.
It's almost like Miss America.
God.
No, Miss Universe.
Miss Universe, yeah.
Miss Universe had all provinces come together. Listen, lipstick on 10, hair on 10, heels 10.
And you know, even with that, they have to talk too.
Oh yeah.
They have to talk and show their knowledge and show the type of person that they are, even with Miss Universe and all that.
Oh yeah.
So when you look at this, what is it that separated Esther from all these other women? Yep. And it wasn't the hair, it wasn't the gold, it wasn't the apparel. Read.
But let it be the hidden man of the heart.
It was her hidden man. It was the type of woman that she was. And I'm sure every brother that's watching online, that's going to watch this video, that's in class right now, there's nothing better than a woman that has she carries herself a certain way. We don't care about the looks. We do to a certain extent, but it's not about the looks. It's about the way this woman carries herself. That's what makes your heart fall for her. Read.
God, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit.
Yeah, she had a meek and a quiet spirit about her. Ooh. That's what made him, oh man, I've never seen a woman like you before.
Right.
Read.
Which is in the sight of the Most High of great price.
That was a great price to him. And just like for us brothers here, man, and brothers online, when you see a woman that's like this, that woman's of a great price. There's nothing better. Read.
God. For after this manner in the old times, the holy women also, who trusted in the Most High, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands.
Exactly. And they wasn't adorned with the apparel and all that. It was adorned by that meek and quiet and humble spirit. And that's what Esther had on her that made the king say, you know what, I'm choosing you over everybody else.
No, indeed. And you know, you got to see that. That's not a knock or a put down for women today that don't have those attributes. That's why the first scripture we did was John chapter 15 and verse 26 or 14 and verse 26. How it's bringing back to our remembrance of how we should be. Because you can change your ways just like the men. You got to be better in conversation. The women, same thing. You work on the attributes that's going to make you better. You know, back in the day, Esther was just raised up like that. A lot of us weren't. We had bad examples of our parents looking crazy, talk crazy. You know what I'm saying? So we're coming back into this. But we're seeing, like the priest was bringing out, is that Esther, listen, she was on a righteous, meek, and humble vibe, man. That's who she was. You gonna say something?
I have a short definition of chaste.
Oh, come on. Need it.
Pure, genuine, uncorrupt, free from barbarous words.
Ooh.
And
you need a microphone. Read that again.
Pure, genuine.
So this is the definition of chaste. It says pure, genuine, uncorrupt. Listen, a lot of individuals have been corrupted by the world, by your family members, by your boyfriends, by your girlfriends. We've been corrupt, man. That's why our database and our brain has to be reprogrammed. And this is what's going to do it, man. It has to get reprogrammed. Your thoughts aren't right. But continue.
Free from barbarous words.
Free from barbarous words. What you mean? Nigga, please. Barbarous words. Read.
And phrases.
And phrases? Come on, man. And phrase up like that. Where'd you get that from?
From like a Bible dictionary, but it's also just in my notes.
Oh, okay. Somebody dropped that? Is that the 1828 Bible dictionary?
No, I have just like a regular KJV dictionary on my phone.
Nice. That was heavy. Yeah, that's on point, man. It talks about uncorrupted. But that's what these young these fair young virgins were. They were uncorrupted. That's why the priest was like, listen, I need this. I need something. Because Vashti, Heisman on her. Gots to go. Where you at in Esther?
Esther chapter 2, verse 9.
Read that.
And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him. And he speedily gave her things for purification, with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women.
Come on.
Esther had not showed her people, nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it.
Yep, slow it down. No rush. But read that verse 10 again. Slowly.
Esther had not shown her people, nor her kindred.
Yeah, Esther had not shown her people, nor her kindred. Y'all got to see that. We were in captivity right now, man. We were in captivity, and we had... Esther was a Jew, Israelite amongst the Persians, man.
Go ahead.
She wouldn't have got accepted, most likely. Again, we are servants, we're slaves. But it said that Esther had not shown her people, nor her kindred. Read.
For Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it.
Yeah, Mordecai told her uncle, listen, Esther, don't let them know who you are. Don't let them know. It was for a reason. But she did that. She didn't just wild out like, yeah, I'm Israelite. Like, where you from? I'm from here. I don't know where I'm from. She played that role. She didn't play the, yeah, nigga, I'm Israelite. And, no. She was humble and she rode with the counsel, with the advice. Read.
And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know how Esther did.
No, slow it down. Good.
And what should become of her.
Right, so Mordecai was looking out for Esther. Continue.
Now when every maid's turn was come to go to King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the women.
So it was a 12-month process for this purification that these women went through, as well as Esther. A 12-month process. Think about your relationships. Yo, what's going on? What verse you at?
Esther chapter 2, verse 12.
Esther chapter 2 and verse 12. But it's talking about the purification process, the manner of women. It was a 12-month. 12-month. Listen, relationship started what? 2 weeks. Oh, man. There was a couple that came through the mall. A couple that came... Oh, there it is. Oh, this is hilarious. Say it again?
Was it 5 years?
Not then. I was thinking about them, but not then. This was at Baybrook, man. This dude was like, yeah, man, we're at the mall, you know, broke date. You know, she just want to come over and watch Netflix and chill. I was like, yeah, okay, well, how long have you been together for? About 3 weeks. I was like, I understand why she ain't trying to go over there and chill with you, bro. Come on now. You know, our people steadily try to move quick. But the scripture says what in verse 12?
After that, she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the women.
Yeah, you got to see that. You know, the king, he wanted something for life. For life. He didn't want nothing fast. It wasn't a booty call. It wasn't something he was just going to hit it in. What is it? Hit it in, boot it in. Toot it and boot it. He wasn't going to do that. He wanted something for life, man. Read.
For so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh.
Read that again.
For so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh.
So they had to bathe 6 months in myrrh. Does anybody know what myrrh is good for? What is good for the body in?
Relaxes the mind.
Okay, not too much of myrrh. Not too much of myrrh. That's frankincense though. Yeah, frankincense is a natural antidepressant. Yeah.
Myrrh cleanses the body though, right?
There it is. Anything else? So myrrh, we deal with this essential oil of myrrh. Myrrh is a powerful antioxidant, a compound that combats oxidative damages or damage. And oxidative damage is free from radicals, contributes to aging and some diseases. So this myrrh that was being implemented to the women for the purification process was to cleanse their body, man. You know, again, who knows what was going on? They could have been out there in the jungle. They could have been out there in the hood. You know, a lot of times, man, a lot of y'all from the hoods, the beauties are from the streets, man. Some of the most beautifulest women is in the barrios, in El Salvador, Honduras, you know what I'm saying, Haiti, Dominican Republic, in the hoods. That's where y'all be at. Y'all got to get cleansed up a little bit. Like again, the Most High said he found us in our mire. We're beautiful individuals, but he found us in our mire, man, in our boo-boo. It was a little rough. That's why these women had to be cleansed with this myrrh. You know, and myrrh has a lot of other different helpful benefits. I'm going to give you just a couple more. It kills bacteria. It helps oral health, supports skin health, and may help heal sores. So not only is it an antioxidant, but it's literally going to heal your sores, give you some nice oral, like an oral mouthwash. You know, so we use these things specifically. Combats pain and swelling. You know, the Most High is beautiful in how he created the earth and these herbs and oils that we can get from the earth, man. You know, myrrh comes from a tree. It actually comes from a tree it's like northern East Africa. But from the myrrh tree, it's the bark. All right, it's the technically it's the sap where they get the oil from. But yeah, keep reading and keep reading down.
6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odor.
6 months with what?
Sweet odor.
Come on, man. Listen, our women had hygiene. Even the Israelites are talking about this is King Ahasuerus' kingdom, but our women was like that, man. I got a book called History in the Bible, and it talks about we took baths before and after we ate. Think about it. Think how many of y'all cook food in the house, got the onions popping, bell peppers popping, meat kicking, whatever it may be. Shoot, you go sit down a little bit. What you smell like?
You smell it just like that.
Everything. You go into the mall, brother go into the mall, go get something to eat. Bro, he come back smelling like the whole cafeteria. Like, God dang.
You gotta throw some oils on it.
Yeah, man. You gotta lighten that off. You know, but it shows us how we were a clean people, man. 6 months of a sweet odor. Women, listen, take care of yourself. Get yourself smelling good. Put a fragrance that your man wants on you. Because that's what happened. That sweet odor was what King Ahasuerus wanted, man. Keep reading.
And with other things for the purifying of the women.
Come on, keep reading.
Then thus came every maiden unto the king. Whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the women unto the king's house. In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the women, to the custody of Shaashgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name.
Yep, just read a little bit slower. And if you can help read too, Major, keep reading.
Now in the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abiel, the uncle of Mordecai who had taken her for his daughter, who was come to go in unto the king, she required nothing but what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her.
Again, Esther is still continually to show favor to Esther, man. But why? She's not just a crazy, outlandish, loud, disrespectful, speaking back. And again, I'm talking about speaking back is literally combative, not like answering a question. Combative. Give me 1 Peter 5 and verse 5. Actually, hold that for a second. You're going to get that. Yes, you can hold that. Keep reading.
Verse 16. So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house, royal in the 10th month, which is the month Tebet, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women.
He did what?
And the king loved Esther above all the women.
Why? He was completely different. Y'all gotta really go into Vashti. Vashti was a hoodlum. As they say now, ratchet, uncontrollable, a scorpion. He couldn't hold her. Shit, nigga, I'm gonna have my own party. I ain't gonna see you. But then he sees somebody meek and mild, was like, yes, my lord. You called? Me? Yes.
But you know, what he's dealing with is like what we deal with too. Like when we see, if you're a woman and you find a man that has the wisdom on him, or if you're a man and you find a woman that has the wisdom on her, it's the same thing. Like you look at her, you look at him, and you're like, golly, like you're so different.
Right.
You shine. Like it says in Numbers 6:25, the Most High make His face shine upon you. You shine to these people when they see you. When you have that wisdom on you, just think about it. When you just being in the camp, or if you're online, just being around other Israelites, when you see how we carry ourselves, and you see how a woman out there carry themselves, or a man out there carry themselves, you're like, wow, there's a difference. There's a huge difference. Yeah, carry on.
Verse 17. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight.
She did what?
And she obtained grace and favor in his sight.
Y'all gotta see what gives y'all grace and favor, man. If y'all wanna have grace and favor in your household, listen, appease your man. Literally, listen, babe, I just like to, a nice little cooked meal at nighttime. It's hard. Cook a little meal. Listen, hamburger helper. It ain't difficult. Love hamburger helper. But it's showing the spirit that Esther had on her, man. Read that again.
And she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins.
Yeah, more than all the virgins, man. Something was different. Keep reading.
So that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti.
But you gotta see, man, the Most High was setting something up, man. Most High was setting something up for Israel. Because we're in captivity right now, but you got a Hebrew Israelite sliding through the kingdom. Sliding from the hood, from the barrios, coming through the front gate. Got the 7 maidens smelling good, looking good, got the clothes, got the jewels. King is like, I want her. Something, the Most High is working on something. Read.
Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate.
Come on.
And Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people.
Yeah, y'all gotta see, there's a reason. We're gonna wait to show you. There's a reason why she's not showing her kindred. She's not giving her registry yet. Read.
As Mordecai had charged her, for Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, 2 of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the doors, were wrought.
Yeah, you gotta see. At verse 20 it says, for Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. She didn't forget that, man. Give me 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 5.
Come on. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 5.
Come on.
Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder.
Yeah, you gotta listen. The elders should be showing this example, and they are showing this example of what being humble, meek, mild is. Your example isn't Beyonce, Church of Bae. It's not the Kardashians. It ain't China Black China. It's not what other black superstar that's crazy. Cardi B. What did she do?
Yeah, she does that.
Dang.
That's the thing.
Yeah, man. It's not these ruthless gremlins.
Go ahead.
No, it says, likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Read.
Yea, all of you be subject one to another.
Come on.
And be clothed with humility.
With what?
With humility.
Yeah, Esther had humility. Vashti didn't have that. That's why she got rejected. And Esther is literally being raised up. The Most High is showing that humble spirit. It's funny, man. The black and Hispanics, man, y'all are quick to y'all want nobody to do you wrong. It's like, don't talk to me like that. Like, bro, if they did, what is it gonna do to you? Just roll. That's how you feel? Okay. Let me keep rolling. Why? They shouldn't mess up your zone, your vibe. They shouldn't affect how you feel. You know who you are. You know the spirit that the Most High put on you. Why would you act out of being humble? Out of having humility? You out here like on what's that show? What's the app? World Star. You the ones kicking off. I remember y'all seen that woman at the bank. The little white woman pushed her. She just kicked her shoes off. Boom, boom. Hit her in the face real quick. You ain't seen that video? Oh, that is hilarious. She kicked them shoes off so quick. She was like, oh, her little sandals. Oh, hell no. Whopped her in the face. Oh my God, you just came all the way out the spirit. But we're seeing that the Most High wants you to be clothed with humility. Read.
For God resisteth the proud.
Yeah, he do. The Most High resists the proud, man. Y'all got to see that. You're not. Y'all got to check yourselves when you start getting into this mentality like Vashti. When you start getting into the mentality, just this prideful spirit, you're not pleasing to God right now. So don't think he's going to make your way go. Your way will not be prosperous with a prideful attitude. You will be binged up, backed up, jacked up because of that pride. Read.
And giveth grace to the humble.
So ain't nothing wrong with taking that Christ mentality. Christ was quick to, he got spit on. What'd he do? Okay. Alright, I'm going to go to the next city. On to the next city. What you want to say?
It's dope because I was reading today. It says that wisdom it makes you where you're not subject to hurt. Like so all these things could happen to you, but you like
perfect. I like that. Get the scripture. Get the scripture for the brothers and sisters online.
God is Wisdom of Solomon.
Read a little louder.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 22. For wisdom, which is the work of all things, taught me. For in her is an understanding spirit.
Right.
Holy, one only, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt.
Come on, man.
But it's just like showing that, like these people, they're moving in that, like, okay, this happened to me. But
right.
I know that this is going to put you through that furnace. You know?
Right.
Like that, Ecclesiastes chapter 2.
No, that's beautiful because the wisdom makes you not subject to her. You know why? Because you understand a person that just talked to you out the side of their mouth is crazy. There's something wrong with them. Something ain't right. So you know what? I'm going to have that humility. That's what the wisdom do. Esther had that wisdom, man, to where she was rising up. The Most High was able to work with her. He was able to, think about it. The Most High can't work with pride. And if he do, he's going to throw you through a roller coaster. Like Samson. Yeah, Samson went through a roller coaster and still died at the end. In a tragedy of a way. He didn't have to go through that. But Esther, being brought up by Mordecai, is showing how to be humble, man. She was taught the ways of a woman, how to be meek, mild, how to honor her husband. That's what our people need to find out, man. They need to learn. We're all learning that. Continue to read verse 6.
God, verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High.
Yeah, come on, man. Humble yourself. Humble down. Be like Esther. For you women. For you men. Be like Christ. Take Christ's route. Suffer wrongfully. But Esther is showing us right here what humility is doing for her, man. And as we see, she can get anything. Keep reading.
That he may exalt you in due time.
And he may what?
Exalt you in due time.
Come on, man. Somebody give me Proverbs, or give me Hebrews 10 and 35. Hold that. Where you at? Read that last precept.
God.
That he
may exalt you in due time.
Yeah, the Most High wants to elevate you, man. Elevate, elevate, elevate. He want to put you in the prince king status. He wants to put you as a ruler. He wants to use you for a purpose. And as we know in the story, Esther was used for the purpose of her people, man. This is beautiful. But she had to be in a humble mind state. She had to continue in what she was brought up with. Remember, the scripture said that she was brought up with this. Read where you at, Hebrews.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 35.
Come on.
Cast not away, therefore, your confidence.
See, she didn't cast away her confidence. Just because she was out of her comfort zone, she didn't cast that away. She understood how to walk around, how to talk, how to move, how to have a chaste conversation. Read.
Which hath great recompense of reward.
It do. Just like it says here, that he may exalt you in due time. Your confidence in what you were taught in, what the Bible is telling us to do, what Esther was brought up in, it has a what?
Great recompense of reward.
Read.
For ye have need of patience, that shall after ye have done the will of the Most High, ye might receive the promise.
Yeah, patience, man. Esther had patience. Jump back into Esther. Jump back into Esther. Esther chapter 2 and verse what?
21.
Read it.
In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth, and sought to lay hands on the King Ahasuerus. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen. And Esther certified the king thereof.
Read a bit slow. Remember, read for the people online. Read.
And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when inquisition was made of the matter.
Read that again, verse 22.
Sir. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen. And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name.
Right, you got to see that. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it to Esther. And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. So she made known that Mordecai told her this. Alright? She made known. I want you to remember that. Read.
And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hung on a tree.
Yep, hanged on a tree. Read.
And it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king.
It was written in what?
In the book of the Chronicles before the king.
Homework, you can find that out in the Chronicles. But it's showing that Esther, as her stepping into her new position as queen, is that there were some men that was wanting to murder the king, man. But Mordecai heard about it. So Mordecai put Esther on it. Why? Mordecai wasn't able to speak to the king, man. He wasn't able to get close. He wasn't in the inner gates in his palace. He was on the, every time you hear about Mordecai, he's walking on the outside of the gate, king's gates.
No, I was just gonna say it's gonna go into it more because it wasn't just that he fell asleep or he woke up next to these two dudes and they were plotting to kill the king. Because if you really think about it, would you be plotting if Zion's the king and I'm plotting on killing Zion? And me or you were talking, and he's right there sleeping. We're not going to have this conversation like that just right there with this guy sleeping. So we're going to go into it a little bit more. You know, let's just do it now. Go to Esther chapter 12 and verse 1.
In the Apocrypha.
In the Apocrypha.
So we're going to show you how the Apocrypha that Esther, these chapters link up. This is the same, these are the other chapters that link with Esther in the Bible. The Apocrypha. It was included in 1611, and we're going to show you here just with this story about Purim with Esther.
It's on page 55 in the Red Apocrypha book. Maybe not in yours, but in yours maybe.
Go on.
Okay.
It's page 55. You're going to read chapter 12, start at verse 1. And this is a beautiful story, man. It's a great story. It's a great story. So, yeah, start at verse 1.
Esther chapter 12 and verse 1. And Mordecai took his rest in the court of Gabbatha and Terah, and two eunuchs of the king, two eunuchs of the king, excuse me.
Two eunuchs of the king.
Okay, eunuchs of the king, and keepers of the palace.
So those two eunuchs were the ones we just read about right here.
Right. Oh yeah.
What was it? Bigthan and Teresh. Those were the two eunuchs. Read.
And he heard their devices and searched out their purposes.
So it wasn't like he just overheard them. He used wisdom. He heard what they were planning. It's like he heard them mention something, but then he digged. He digged, like the scripture in Ecclesiastes says, "Prick the eye, and it shall give forth her wisdom." So he digged and found out. Read.
And learned that they were about to lay hands upon
Artaxerxes,
the king.
Yeah, what's the same thing? Ahasuerus, Cyrus, same person.
And so he certified the king of them.
All right, yeah, you can jump back to chapter 3, verse 1.
Esther chapter 3, verse 1. After these things, did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
Where you at?
Esther chapter 3, verse 1.
Go ahead and pick that up, Mark. Esther chapter 3 and verse 1.
Esther chapter 3 and verse 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Amitha, the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
Yeah, you gotta see this Haman, man. It's Haman, as we're gonna see, that Haman is brought up, man. Haman, let me give you a little backstory about Haman, man. This is a book called All the Men of the Bible, all right? And I'm about to go into Haman. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, man. When you read, you're gonna see that Haman becomes the enemy of Israel. And when we read the story, I want you guys to pay attention to the spirit that is on Haman, because that's the spirit that you don't want for yourself. Period.
Right.
Because when you're reading it, you're gonna see how he's a man pleaser, and he's very subtle. And you know, there's a whole backstory to it that we're gonna bring out, but it's beautiful. You definitely don't want the spirit of Haman on you, because so far we're seeing the Most High is showing you two things. You get Vashti, which is the negative, and then you get Esther, which is the positive. But then you get Haman. No. You get Mordecai, which is the positive, and then you're gonna get his negative side, which is Haman. So yeah.
So Haman is he's never, it says, had in that passion for elevation. So we're gonna see that Haman wanted to be elevated, man. He wanted to be the king's right-hand man, but by any means, though. But it said he never considered principle when seeking the king's honor. He never considered principle when seeking the king's honor, which means he'll do anything to elevate and power. All right? Let's keep reading about this man Haman after he's being elevated. Read.
Verse 2. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman.
Why? Because he got put up, man. Remember, man, we're going through this process of understanding about Purim. And this is a situation to where a woman was rejected because of her pride. Esther being brought up because of her meek and humbleness. And now there's these other things that's coming around. Because remember, we're in captivity, man. We do have haters. We have haters that people want to kill us and destroy us, just like they do in this world today. All the nations, the Hamites, the Elamites, the Edomites, all of them. There are enemies. The Moabites, the Ammonites, all of them. Continue to read.
For the king had so commanded concerning him, but Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence.
Mordecai did what?
Bowed not, nor did him reverence.
Yeah, Mordecai didn't bow down to this man. He's like, bro, I'm not finna bow down to nobody. As a Hebrew Israelite, we don't bow down to no man.
Exactly.
What does the scripture say? What does the scripture say? Give me Exodus 20 and 4. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 4.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth.
Read.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them.
It don't matter if it's stone, statue, or man. Mordecai was a Benjamite. He knew the law. We ain't bowing down to no man. Especially Haman, as we're going to find out. Read.
Nor serve them, for I am the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers unto the children, unto the third and fourth generation.
Yeah, you got to see that. Listen, Mordecai was not doing that, man. I ain't bowing down to no man. Jump back into
go
ahead.
Revelation chapter 19 verse 10. Really quick. Really quick.
Revelations chapter 19 verse 10.
Go ahead.
And I fell at his feet to worship him.
So this is John. This is John, right? And this angel showing him things that's gonna come, like we read in Revelation chapter 1 and 1. But it says John fell. Read from the top, verse 10.
And I fell at his feet to worship him.
So John falls on his feet to worship this angel, right? Read.
And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua.
Read.
Worship God. For the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy.
Listen, this was an angel telling him, don't bow down to me. Don't bow down to me. I'm a brother. I'm a fellow servant just like you. So why would Mordecai bow down to this man who is not, one, not our brother, two, not an angel, three, not a fellow servant in Yahushua? Why would Mordecai bow down to this man? We don't bow down to anybody but Christ. But yeah, back to Esther.
Yeah, so when you finish, where we at?
Verse 3.
Go ahead.
Verse 3. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai his matters would stand.
Right, if he was going to continue to do that. Read.
For he had told them that he was a Jew.
See, and that's what Mordecai was trying to have Esther hold back. That they were a Jew. Why? We're in captivity, man. We were in servitude. We were bondmen and bondwomen. Mordecai was over there walking around freely. Read.
And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
Yeah, but you got to see. You got to see why Mordecai didn't do that, man. Give me Exodus chapter 17 and verse 14. When you go through down the lineage of Haman, Haman is an Amalekite. Haman is an Amalekite, man. And the Most High cursed this nation. He cursed him. And Mordecai knew that, man. It says this. It says, but Mordecai pricked Haman's bubble and would not bow to him. It says, how could he honor an Amalekite whom God had cursed? Give me Exodus chapter 17 and verse 14.
Exodus chapter 17, verse 14.
Come on.
And the Most High said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven.
Come on.
And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi.
Keep reading.
For he said, because the Most High had sworn that the Most High would have war with Amalek from generation to generation.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, I was thinking too. That kind of links up with Obadiah because that's the head tribe of the Edomites.
Oh yeah, come
so
on.
He's gonna have war with them forever and ever. And that's the head tribe of the Edomites. So he's gonna lock them out.
No, indeed. But you see how Haman was like, bro, I ain't bound down to you. Please. It says that we're gonna have war from generation to generation. Mordecai knew what was up, man. Especially this little sticky, this little conniving, sneaky little guy, Haman. Let's get back to Esther.
Verse 6. He thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had shown him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews.
Think about that, man. That's that spirit that Esau has, man. This is what he's a murderous spirit, man. This wants to kill everybody. These nations, they hate us. They killed. Listen, I just saw a little. It was a snippet of back in the, I think it was like the 1800s, man. Listen, you had a lot of Hispanics getting literally lynched, man. Lynched, dragged on horses. That's the same spirit. It says that Haman wanted to destroy all the Jews. Read.
That were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus. Even the people of Mordecai.
Everybody was gonna die. Read.
In the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast her, that is the lot, before Haman, from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar.
Come on.
And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad, and dispersed among the people, in all the provinces of thy kingdom.
Here go Haman. Haman out here just trying to gain rank, trying to show the king, listen, I'll be a little, what is it called? I'll be your huckleberry. Right. I'll be a little slave. He over here trying to rat on the Jews.
Teacher's pet.
Come on, teacher's pet, as they say. Read.
And their laws are diverse from all people.
Because we were. It says our laws. We ate different. We walked around different. Y'all got to see that the Most High literally separated us, man. It don't matter even if we was in captivity. Give me Ecclesiastes 33 and 11 on that point. Ecclesiastes chapter 33 and verse 11. You know, where we're at this point in this Esther story that this man Haman is plotting against the Jews, man. He's plotting to kill them. After Esther came up, it's like your sister, man, that married a millionaire. It's almost like Eve, right? Eve married Esau. The billionaire, what is it called? The billion ball, what was it? Huh? That's the guy's name?
Yeah.
No, but what's his company's name? You don't remember the company's name, Mark? Yeah, she married a billionaire. But think about it. She come up, we come up, right? He made it, we all made it. Shoot. Yeah, until Haman hopped on deck. But read where you at.
Ecclesiastes chapter 33 and verse 11.
Come on.
Inasmuch knowledge the Lord had divided them and made their ways diverse.
Yeah, he definitely did. He made our ways diverse from all the other nations. We look different, we talk different, we walk different. Our principles are different. Our laws are different. And that's why they was hating on us, man. These brothers don't eat pork, man. It's funny, I be in the mall. Somebody said something about pork. I was like, oh, I don't eat pork. Oh, you don't eat pork either? I know the other man don't eat pork. We all don't eat pork. What? We're different. We move around different. Oh, actually, y'all got your little flaily things on your shirts. They're called fringes, but it's okay. You can go to Numbers, Numbers and find that out, 15:35 or 38. You can see exactly where that's at, why we do that. Yeah, we different, man. We've been different. It didn't matter what captivity we were in, we were always shining. Y'all gotta wake up and see, listen, just because we're in America, America can't hold us down. Oh no. We got to keep on moving. Literally. Jump back to Esther.
Esther chapter 8, second to last precept. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them.
See, Ahasuerus was a king that listened to everybody, man. He listened to those that he put up in power. And Haman is over here telling him that it's not profitable to have these people not do your laws. It's almost like the same vibe as Vashti, right? Vashti came up and was being disrespectful. You gotta push her out. You gotta let go of her. He's saying the same thing about the Jews here. Read.
If it please thee, the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed.
That they may be what?
Destroyed.
Read.
And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business.
Come on.
To bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of the Agag.
Yep.
The Jews' enemy.
Right.
And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also to do with them as it seemeth good to thee.
Right.
Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written, according to all that Haman had commanded, unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people, after their language, in the name of King Ahasuerus.
Right, everybody gonna understand what we put on this paper. It ain't gonna be no lost in translation. Like when you go around Chinatown on Bel Air, you don't know what they say on the signs up there. Not here. Oh, you gonna know. You Jews got to go. You will be put to death. Sooner or later, it's coming. Beware. Read.
Was it written and sealed with the king's ring? And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
Yeah, so this is what was one of the main things about Purim, man, is that this man Haman wanted to destroy. He had the plot to destroy the Jews. Kids, women, it didn't matter. Animals, everybody has to go. That was a plot against Israel. But we're going to see how the meek, humble Esther played a role in changing that up. Read.
Verse 14. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. The post went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan, the palace. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city Shushan was perplexed. That was
Alright, do this. Go to Esther in the Apocrypha, page 55, chapter 11. A little bit more insight.
Come. Esther in the Apocrypha, chapter 11.
Do this. You can skip verse 1. Go to verse 3.
Verse 3. Who was a Jew and dwelt in the city of Susa, a great man, being a servitor in the king's court. He was also one of the captives of which Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, carried from Jerusalem with Johannes, king of Judah. And this was his dream. So, the brother Mordecai, right? He had a dream. The Most High actually put it into his. The Most High, like the scripture says, the Most High speak once, yea twice, right? In a dream, yet man perceiveth it not. Right. That's what Job chapter 33, verse 14. But the Most High had showed Mordecai a dream. Read verse 5. Behold, a noise of turmoil with thunder and earthquakes and uproar in the land. This was the dream. So the dream had a noise of tumult, thunder, earthquakes, and an uproar in the land, right? This noise, tumults, and uproar was because Haman was plotting to get all the Jews killed. Read. Yeah. And behold, 2 great dragons came forth ready to fight. So you had 2 dragons that came forth ready to fight, right? Same page. Go to chapter 10 and read verse 7. Same page. It's right. It's verse 7.
Okay. Yeah. And the 2 dragons are I and Haman.
So those 2 dragons, read back in verse 6.
And behold, 2 great dragons came forth ready to fight, and their cry was great. So we know now the 2 dragons was Haman and Mordecai. Read. And at their cry, all nations were prepared to battle, that they might fight against the righteous people. Because the decree that was being sent out by Haman was that, remember, we were scattered. We were scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. But just like Haman was shown earlier in the scriptures, we were scattered and we won't follow the laws of these other nations. So every other nation that we were taken captive to, the letter came to them, hey, kill them. They're going to die on this day. So every nation was pretty much going to go to war against us and wipe us off the planet. Read. And lo, a day of darkness and obscurity, tribulation and anguish, affliction and great uproar upon the earth. Read. And the whole righteous nation was troubled. Well, why were we troubled? Read. Fearing their own evils. Yeah, because we were evil. That was the whole point of us going into captivity in the first place, because we were wicked. We were evil. Just like now. Our people out there, they're wicked, they're evil. But the only difference is the people right now in this story, our people got the letter. Okay, we're all gonna get wiped out. So now they're fearful. Now they're like, oh crap, we done messed up. But out there, they're good. They're not even thinking about, oh man, we done disobeyed the Most High. That's why we in captivity. They ain't thinking about nothing like that. But right here, you can see now that it's pronounced, y'all are finna die. That's when we want to do what? Read. And we're ready to perish. Now read. Then they cried unto the Most High. So now that we finna die, that's when we want to do what? Cry unto the Most High. Read. And upon this cry, as it were from a little fountain, was made a great flood, even much water. The light and the sun rose up, and lo, were exalted, and devoured the righteous. So we kind of skipped ahead in the story right here, but just from our little cry, it said that our little cry, it started off as like a little fountain, and that little fountain was made a great flood. So even when you look at it now, when you look at our people now, you'll be like, man, it's rare when I see another Israelite brother in the streets with fringes on. And sometimes I feel like we're the only ones doing the work, or we're the only ones that know.
So right now, it just seems like it's a little cry. But the thing is that that little cry is eventually going to turn into a big flood. And when that big flood, when that happens, it's over. It's over though. It's over for them, I should say. But yeah, go back. Go ahead and go back.
We're going to be in we're going to skip a little bit just so we can get the end of the class. Go to Esther chapter 4 and verse 16. Just to give you a quick recap. You can go back and read, but Mordecai understands what happened with Haman, how he threw out the decree to the king. The Jews are going to be killed. He mourned. He got the word to Esther, telling them what they should do. Go to verse 8, 4 and 8, real quick.
Chapter 4, verse 8. Also, he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go and unto the king, to make supplication unto them.
Why? Because Esther already had a good outlook with the king, man. The king loves her. The king loved her over all women that was there. He chose her. So Mordecai, listen, you're already in there. The Most High must got you here for something. Go in there and make supplications for the Jews, man. See what you can do. Read.
And to make requests before him for her people.
For who?
For her people.
Yeah, man, this one about her. Ooh, I don't die. Mordecai, come on up in here, man. We're going to save ourselves. No, it's about the whole nation of Israel, man. Read.
Verse 9. And Hattach came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again Esther spake unto Hattach, and gave him commandment unto Mordecai. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king and to the inner court, who is not called, there is one law of him, Salah, there is one law of his to put him to death.
Yeah, you got to see that. Nobody could just walk up to the king. Esther couldn't just walk up to the king, even herself. She was worried about being killed. Read.
Shall come unto the king into the inner court.
Right, the inner court. That's where his domain was at. You know how you just walk in? Hey, babe! Not back then. Hold on, wait, when you go through protocol, did you go through protocol?
It's just like in the White House, like you can't just walk into the Oval Office.
Yep.
Matter of fact, you can't even jump the gate. People have tried to jump the gate. I'm surprised they ain't snipe them. But in our kingdom, let an Edomite try to jump the gate.
Right.
He getting sniped. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Who is not called? There is one law of his to put him to death, except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter, that he may live. But I have not been called to come in unto the king these 30 days.
Yeah, so she was like, I ain't even seen the king in 30 days though. Think about it. King Ahasuerus was not playing. Even though he liked Esther, he loved her overall. Listen, he didn't do it for 30 days. I ain't seen him in 30 days. Read.
Verse 12. And they told to Mordecai Esther's words. Then Mordecai commanded to Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews.
And I like the scripture right here, because if you take into context what's happening in the scripture, is that your people are finna die, but Esther has it good. Esther might not die, but her people are finna die. So Mordecai is saying, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. So you ain't finna escape. So when you look at all our people, they got it good. You got some of our people, they got money, they got dough, they got everything that they want. And they do not care about the rest of our nation. All the rappers, all the celebrities, they don't care. They can give a rat's. And you can see Esther might have had that spirit jump on her, or that thought. But you're going to see Esther didn't move in that spirit. Read.
Verse 14.
Go ahead.
For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place.
So check this out. Mordecai is telling Esther, listen, if you don't want to do anything about it, the Most High is going to send the deliverers from somewhere else. And that goes for us here. That goes for us here in the class, online, all the Israelites scattered on the four corners of the earth that the Most High blessed with the knowledge to wake up. If you don't want to do something about it, the work is still going to get done. But the difference is the Most High is going to get somebody else to do it. So you can either do it and be a part of the movement, or somebody else is going to do it.
And take your jewels.
Exactly.
When that time come to get crowned, they're going to take that from you. No, for real. It's the draft pick.
Go ahead.
Listen, this is the elite. This is the all-star. Think about it like that. A lot of cats don't make the all-star game, but 144,000 will.
Go ahead.
But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed.
But yeah, if you don't want to help your people, you want to just be by yourself, you want to be a lonely life, a by myself Israelite, or whatever they want to call it. Guess what? Your father's house is going to get destroyed. Your house and your father's house will get destroyed. You're joined hand in hand with America, so you're going to go down with it. Read.
And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this?
So he's showing her, like, why do you think the Most High elevated you above all these other women and put you in this position where you're the queen? It has to be a reason. You're there for this reason, to deliver your people. Verse 15, go ahead.
Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. Verse 17.
You see how cold Esther was.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this though too, just on the point of and who knows whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this. Even for us that's watching online, here in class, listen, your impact in the truth is major. A lot of times our vision is so narrow-minded, you don't see what the Most High can do, man. You really don't see the vision. You know, you could do a lot more. There's a lot to be done rather than just be here, you know, do our regular job. There's more than that. We're about to go to Virginia. We're about to open up another school. And what's going to happen there? We're going to be settled down there. We're going to get brothers there moving and grooving. What's going to happen? We're going to open up another school. It has to continue, man. And it's beautiful once you give yourself, because you got to see why the Most High gave you this knowledge.
Go ahead. Hey, do this too. Yeah, go to Esther chapter 14 and verse. Go to Esther chapter 14, verse 3.
In the Apocrypha.
Yeah, in the Apocrypha.
Esther chapter 14, verse 3.
This is in the Apocrypha. Esther chapter 14 and verse 3.
And she prayed unto the Lord God of Israel.
So this is what she did after she told Mordecai, listen, if I perish, I perish, but I'm gonna go and talk to the king. Read.
Say, O my Lord, thou only art our king. Help me, desolate woman, which have no helper but thee.
But I wanted to bring this out because what we got to see is that the Most High always shows favor to a widow woman. He's always going to have her back. Read.
For my danger is in my hand.
The Most High is always going to have you. So if you're a wife, if you're a lady, if you're a widow woman, and you're out there, the Most High is always going to have your back, especially if there's something especially if you know you're doing righteousness. Jump to verse 12, because this is a beautiful part that is going to be brought out about Esther.
Verse 12.
Go ahead.
Remember, O Lord, make thyself known in time of our affliction, and give me boldness, O King of the nations, and Lord of all power.
So Esther, at first, remember, she knows that if she goes into the king's court without being called, she's going to die. So, of course, she's a little scared. So she's asking the Most High, give me boldness. Read.
Give Give me eloquent speech in my mouth before the lion.
Yeah, she's gonna have to subtly talk to the king, because the king will kill her. So she has to have her speech watered, like the scripture says in Colossians, having your speech seasoned with salt. She gotta know how to come to him.
You know, you said the Most High looks at the widows.
Okay.
It's actually in Ecclesiasticus. It's Ecclesiasticus chapter 35.
You a little louder?
It's Ecclesiasticus chapter 35.
Go ahead.
And I believe it's at verse 14.
Oh, you right where I'm about to hit. Okay.
Oh, slap.
No, go ahead. I'm lower.
He will not despise the supplication of the fatherless, nor the widow when she poured out her complaint.
Right.
Doth not the tears run down the widow's cheek, and is not her cry against him that causeth them to fall.
Hold that. And that's perfect, because we're seeing that this is the same spirit that Esther's in, man. The Most High listens to our cries. When you go through the history, that's why it says, listen, consider the days of old, man. Whenever we was under captivity, under destruction, the Israelites, what would they do? Oh God, please help us. Like, I think he was just doing wickedness yesterday. But what does the Most High do? I'm there for you, babe. I'm there for you, son. I'm there for you, daughter. I got you. Don't worry about it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Max.
Give me eloquent speech in my mouth before the lion. Turn his heart to hate him.
Hold that scripture, Mark.
That fight against us, that there may be an end of him.
Go ahead.
And of all that are like-minded to him.
Jump to verse 15.
Go.
Actually, read verse 14. Go ahead.
But deliver us with thine hand, and help me that I am desolate, and which have no help, and which have no other helper but thee.
And this is the point that I wanted to hit. Verse 15. Read this.
Thou knowest all things, O Lord. Thou knowest that I hate the glory of the unrighteous.
So listen, Esther hated the fact that she was the queen. She actually hated the fact that she's the queen to this uncircumcised man. She wasn't. How many of y'all would be a queen right now and get whatever y'all want, and it would literally lose y'all's mind? Y'all would go crazy. But listen to what Esther's saying. She hated the fact that she's put in this glorious position. Read.
And abhorred the bed of the uncircumcised.
Yeah, she hated the fact that I'm gonna have to lay down with this man. Read.
And of all the heathen.
Read.
Thou knowest my necessity, for I abhor the sign of my high estate.
Yeah, she hates the fact that she's regarded now in a high estate, that she is the queen of this land. She doesn't like it. Read.
Which is upon my head in the days wherein I show myself, and that I abhor it as a mistress rag, and that I wear it not when I am private by myself.
Yeah, she don't even, when she's by herself, she don't even wear the crown. She don't even wear the crown. She actually hates the fact that she was the queen.
What's that? Where's that at?
That's Ecclesiastes. No, I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying Ecclesiastes. Esther chapter 14, verse 16.
Yes.
Jump to verse 18.
Dang, she said she abhorred the crown as a mistress rag.
Yeah, she hated it.
She abhors the crown as a mistress rag. Do y'all hate America like that?
Right?
Do y'all hate your jobs like that? The position that you in, they got you in servitude, slavery, as a mistress rag.
When you look at our women, when they become that independent woman and they've graduated from college and they making over 6 figures a year, oh, they love it. They love it when they can just tell you to leave the house.
Yeah.
You don't pay for nothing in here. You can leave. They love it. But look at her. She telling you she hated that.
Yeah. But what I like is that she was humble enough to understand that was her role, man. That is what she had to be. That was her arena that she was in, man. Think about it, gentlemen, ladies. All the things that you don't like, the things that you don't think you should be in. This relationship is over. The way that she talked to me, I hate that. I'm done with her. Who said that? You gotta deal with it. Look at Esther. Esther literally had to be with another nation. But for who though? She took it for the nation, man. It's beautiful how the Most High is using Esther for the salvation of her people, man. Beautiful. We're gonna jump.
Verse 18, real quick. 18 and 19. Read.
Neither had thine handmaiden.
Go ahead.
Neither had thine handmaid any joy since the day that I was brought hither to this present.
So you would think about it, reading the whole story up until this point, you would have been like, oh man, I bet she loved where she was at.
Sound joyous. You got 7 handmaids?
She got all this jewelry, anything that she wants, but she's telling you she had no joy in that. But read.
But indeed, O Lord, God of Abraham.
That's the only thing that she could take the joy in, was the Most High. Verse 19, go ahead.
O thou mighty God above all, hear the voice of the forlorn, and deliver us out of the hands of the mischievous, and deliver me out of my fear.
And this is what it is, man. Y'all got to see that Esther was actually really scared. She was actually very scared to go through what she was about to go through.
Yep.
But she prayed and she asked the Most High to be there with her. And she did it. She did it for her people. And you know, the dope thing is, her people didn't even know. Because she always kept it. She always kept Mordecai's commandment. Don't let nobody know.
Yeah.
So everybody's looking at her like, oh man, she's the queen. She living it up. But nobody knew what she was really dealing with except for Mordecai and whoever was around her.
Yeah, you got to see that. That's why she told Mordecai to fast, man. Tell the people to fast and pray. We need that. Give me Ecclesiastes 35 and 16, just on that point. Ecclesiastes 35 and 16, and jump down to Esther chapter 5 and verse 2. Read where you at.
Ecclesiastes chapter 35, verse 16. He that serveth the Lord shall be accepted with favor.
He that do what?
Serveth the Lord shall be accepted with favor.
Y'all gotta see if y'all serving the Most High. Are you being that humble, meek servant for the Most High, for your people? He does what?
Accepted with favor.
You're accepted with favor to the Creator. That's what gets your prayers answered, as we're going to read. Read.
And his prayer shall reach unto the clouds.
And his what?
Prayers shall reach unto the clouds.
I got to see why a lot of prayers are hindered. Why the Most High be like, Matumbo, blocking that. Nah, you ain't serving nothing but yourself. You serving you and your family, your mouth. You're not serving the Most High. But the Most High said that he that serveth the Lord shall be accepted with favor. Read.
Verse 17. The prayer of the humble pierceth the cloud.
Come on, man. That's why Esther's prayers were heard. Read.
And till it come nigh, he will not be comforted, and will not depart till the Most High shall go home to judge righteously and execute judgment.
Come on, man, because that's what she wanted, man. The prayer of the humble reaches the clouds. Give me Esther chapter 5 and verse 2.
Come. Esther chapter 5 verse 2. And it was so, when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near.
Want to read that again, verse 2?
Come, from the top.
Yep.
And it was so, when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight.
And this is what she was scared of. That's what she was praying for. She was like, shit, I might get killed. I might rather get a scepter on my neck or my head. I might get sliced and stabbed through the throat. But it says that the king received her. What does it say?
And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter.
Come on.
That was in his hand.
Right.
So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. Verse 3. Then said the king unto her, What wilt thou, Queen Esther? And what is thy request? It shall be even given thee to the head of the kingdom.
All right, I'm gonna read Esther chapter 15, verse 7 in the Apocrypha. Because when you're reading it, remember Esther was scared to approach the king. It doesn't really go into it about what Esther really dealt with. So verse 7, Esther chapter 15, verse 7 says, I'll read verse 6. Then having passed through all the doors, she stood before the king, who sat upon his royal throne, and was clothed with all his robes of majesty, all glittering with gold and precious stones. And he was very dreadful. Then lifting up his countenance that shone with majesty, he looked very fiercely upon her. And the queen fell down, and was pale, and fainted, and bowed herself upon the head of the maid that went before her. Then God changed the spirit of the king into mildness, who in a fear...
Read that again?
Then God changed the spirit...
No, I changed it.
Then God changed the spirit...
No, that guy Yon, that wine he was drinking changed his spirit.
Then Yahweh changed the spirit of the king into mildness.
That's beautiful, man. It said that the Most High changed the spirit. Y'all gotta see that a lot of times. Y'all gotta give the Most High room to work. Send your prayers up. Give the Most High room to work. Everybody want to take things into their own hands. I ain't got enough time to wait for God. I need to do it now. I need my results now. No, let the Most High change that man's mind. Change her heart. You never know. Stick to what you got to do. Stick to what the scriptures say. Be patient, long-suffering, care. It says that God changed his spirit. Go ahead.
Into mildness.
Ooh.
Who in a fear leaped from his throne and took her into his arms.
Look at that. He was, Captain, let me save my wife.
When he was supposed to kill her.
Right. Rather than stepping out and hitting her with the sword, he jumped out and was like, no. To save her.
God.
Come on, man. That's beautiful.
God. And took her into his arms, till she came to herself again, and comforted her with loving words, and said unto her, Esther, what is the matter? I am thy brother, be of good cheer. Thou shalt not die, though our commandment be general. Come near.
Yeah, come on.
So he told her, listen, you're not going to die. I got you. But remember, the commandment was that if you came into the king's court without him calling you, you were to be put to death.
Yeah, that's strict rule. I like that.
God.
Come on, man. The Most High changed his mind.
God.
The Most High changed his vibe, his spirit that he was in. Y'all better highlight this on the internet. You better highlight this. The Most High is real.
Absolutely.
He is not playing. If you do the things that he says, if you serve him, you'll be accepted with favor. It says the prayers of the humble. This ain't your OC. This is real life. The prayers of the humble will reach the clouds, man. Jump back to Esther. We're going to skip a little bit. Esther chapter 5 and verse 6.
Esther chapter 5 and verse 6. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee.
That's what the king said. Listen, whatever petition you have will be granted. Read.
And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed.
What's the petition? Read.
Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition.
Come on, man. Who come at their husband like that? If it please you. If it please you, king, husband. If it pleases you, sir. Can I do this? Can you do that? Oh my goodness. Look at the different languages. The different, like you said, Allison, your phrases that you use. That was on Chase, right?
That was
Chase, yeah.
Chase. Yo, Chase conversation. Think about that. Listen to the words this sister is bringing out. This Hebrew Israelite example. Read.
And to perform my request, let the king Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them.
Yeah, so she was just setting them up, man. She already knew what Haman was about. Because she knew Haman was the one that was trying to kill the Jews, man. Jump down to verse. Where you want to hit? Jump down to verse 12.
God. Verse 12. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared but myself. And tomorrow am I invited unto her also with the king?
Yeah, she gassed him up. Haman wants to be seen. He wants that position. See? Listen, Esther invited me with just me, her, and him. Me, her, and him. That's what Haman's talking about. Keep reading.
Yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai, the Jew, sitting in the king's gate.
Yeah, but just to answer that question, yeah, he is an Edomite. That is the Edomite nation that Saul should have killed. That's these little gremlins. He still want to kill us, man. He said every time he see your black skin, he want to kill you. Read.
Come. Then said Zeresh, his wife and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king.
Right, him and his wife. Wife talking about, listen, we gonna hang these niggas. We gonna hang these niggas tomorrow. That's the same spirit as Esau in the world today. But a gallows, these big things that they hang people on, man. Read.
Unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou and merrily with the king unto the banquet. And the thing pleased Haman, and he seized the gallows to be made. Verse 6. Chapter 6, verse 1.
Hold that.
I'm going to go ahead. You want me to read? Esther chapter 6, verse 1.
Oh, you want to go into it? Yeah. Now, so as you see the gallows, man, it's crazy that that his whole family was adding into that. But I want you to listen to this one point right here. Read where you at.
Esther chapter 6 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the chronicles.
Read that again.
Verse 1. On that night could not the king sleep.
The king couldn't sleep, man. How many of y'all got sleepless nights? Raise your hand.
Oh, man.
How many of y'all got sleepless nights, man? You over here tossing and turning and, oh God, I can't sleep. I got the midnight shift, now I'm up. I can't sleep. Let's see what the king did. Read.
And he commanded to bring the book of records.
Oh, he did what?
Commanded to bring the book of records.
Read.
Of the chronicles.
See, he commanded to bring the book of the records of chronicles, man. What book we got in the Bible?
Chronicles.
Come on, man. Stuff was already being jotted down. Read.
And they were read before the king.
And they were what?
Read before the king.
Why? Because that was going to ease his mind.
Right.
Give me Joshua 1 and 8. Joshua 1 and 8, Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and verse 37. Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8, Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and verse 37. Go ahead.
Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8.
Come on.
This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth.
Read.
But thou shalt meditate therein day and night.
Yeah, this right here was going to soothe the king. He was meditating on these scriptures, man, on what happened in the Chronicles. He was doing let me see what happened the last couple of days. Let me just read what was going on. Read.
That thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein.
Come on.
For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous.
Yeah, come on, man. He was trying to see what was going on, man. What was going on in my kingdom at this time, man? Jump back down to chapter 6 and verse 2.
Verse 2. Esther chapter 6, verse 2.
Uh-huh.
And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana and Teresh,
the ones that wanted to kill him, that Mordecai told him about these individuals. Read.
Two of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hand on the king.
He didn't know. Yeah, he didn't know that. Read.
On the king Ahasuerus. And the king said, what honor and dignity had been done to Mordecai for this?
Right. We said, well, listen, this man saved my life, man. What was given to this man? Read.
Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was come into the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows that he had prepared for him.
Ooh, read.
And the king's servants said unto him, behold, Haman standeth in the court. And the king said, let him come in. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor?
So the king is like, listen, what shall be done? It says, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor? You got to see that Haman, when he's about to respond, is a cocky, arrogant individual. He think it's him. So he's over here playing like, listen, ooh. Read, let it explain itself.
Now Haman thought in his heart.
So now Haman thought in his heart, read.
To whom would the king delight to do honor more than to himself?
Think about it.
To myself.
To myself. Who would the king? Because in his mind, he ain't thinking about anybody else. He doesn't know the report that Mordecai told about his assassins. We didn't hit that, did we?
We just did.
About his assassins?
Yeah, we hit it earlier.
Okay, yeah, about the assassins that he sent.
God, yes.
But check how the tables turn, man, for these Israelites, for these Jews. Read.
Verse 7. And Haman answered the king for the man who the king delighted to honor. Let the royal apparel be brought with which the king useth to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which is set upon his head. And let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes.
Yeah, so he let him know, listen, this man should have the top-notch Fendi, Prada, Gucci shoes, Versace. Put him in the chains. Listen, if you need a grill, give him that. Give him that Maybach chariot with the thoroughbred horses. hair light brown to the right. He needs that. He needs everything top notch. Read.
That they may array the man withal whom the king delighted to honor.
Come on.
And bring him on horseback through the street of the city.
Bring him on horseback. Like you see the during the parades. You got the mayor sliding through the city. That's how they was going to do Mordecai. But this is what he's telling the king. Because you know why? He wants himself to be in that position.
Exactly.
He think it's him, you big dummy. Read.
And proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighted to honor.
He keeps saying that thus shall it be done unto him who the king delighted. He still think it's him. Read.
Then the king said to Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew.
Ooh, do what?
Do even so to Mordecai the Jew.
Perfect. Read.
That sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken.
Yeah, see, don't let nothing fail. Everything that you just said, Haman, make that happen to him, not you. Make it happen to Mordecai, the one that you hate and despise, the one that you want to kill all his people. Think about that. Y'all talking about y'all enemies. It's funny. Y'all plotting, playing against y'all enemies like y'all really gonna hurt them. See, I'm gonna put a Snicker bar in his gas tank and that nigga ain't never gonna drive his car. Man, the Most High will put you on blast in front of everybody. That's you. Your enemies on blast in front of everybody. Y'all gotta see how the tables was turned from these men by the Most High sending a decree to kill all the Jews to where it's being turned around right now. To where the person that they want to kill is being arrayed in gold and jewels. He got the Maserati out there. V-twin horse torque turbo. Read.
Verse 11. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse and arrayed Mordecai and brought him on horseback through the street of the city.
Ooh.
And proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor. And Mordecai came.
Y'all got to hear that in the audio Bible. Haman was like, thus thou the Lord's God do unto him. Oh, he was sour. Y'all got to go home and read this chapter. He was sour.
The whole story.
He was like, damn. But continue to read.
Verse 12. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hastened to his mouse, mourning and having his head cut.
Yeah, he ain't go to the king's gate. He was like, God, let me just go home and cry. Yeah, that's what you get. You can't do nothing against the children of the Most High. You really think the Most High gonna be down for that? Especially when we got some righteous individuals representing and praying for Israel. That's why y'all gotta pray for Israel more. Because your prayers can be heard and the Most High can answer them any kind of way, man.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful. This is powerful. This is real. This is biblical. This is in the records. Read.
Verse 13. And Haman told Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends everything that had befallen him. Then said his wise men and Zeresh his wife unto him, if Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but shalt surely fall before him.
Come on, man.
And while they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlains and hastened to bring Haman unto the banquet that Esther had prepared.
Because they knew the power of the Most High. Come up against the Israelite or a Jew if you want to. Man, see what's going to happen.
God.
Yeah, you ain't finna kill all these Jews. Come on, man. Especially the leadership trying to be righteous.
God.
Jump down to Esther chapter 7. You can go to verse 2.
Verse 2. Esther chapter 7, verse 2. And the king said again unto Esther on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed even to the half of the kingdom. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request.
And my people. Come on, man. It ain't just her. We do this for our people, man.
God.
Read.
I gotta bring this out too, verse 4.
Go ahead.
For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, and to be slain, and to perish. But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen.
Ooh, what scripture is that? Deuteronomy. Read.
I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. Listen, I'm gonna read this in the annotated, verse 4. For we have been sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be owned, and to be annihilated. If we had been sold merely as slaves, men and women, I would have held my peace. But no enemy can compensate for this damage to the king. So pretty much what Esther is saying is this. Listen, we're already slaves. We're already bondmen and bondwomen. But this guy wants to annihilate us. What more do you want? That's what he's saying. What's up, Major?
So like, what? verse was that you just read?
Verse 4.
That was in the annotated though.
But yeah, she's saying to the king, listen, we're already slaves. What more do you want from us? When you look at America, when you look at the white man, listen, we're already slaves. What more do they want from us? They didn't already cut open pregnant women's bellies. Yep. They didn't already made us work in America for 400 years. We've been at the bottom. We're the #1 people incarcerated. We grew up with no fathers. Yep. I mean, the list goes on. But what more do they want from us? They still want to kill us. And that's that same spirit that Haman had. You want me to jump back?
Where you at?
Esther chapter 7 verse 5.
Read.
Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he and where is he that dost presume in his heart to do so? And Esther said, the adversary.
Go to Ecclesiastes 36:7 real quick. Ecclesiastes 36:7, just showing something on that 3 and 4. On Esther chapter 3 and verse 4. For we are sold and my people to be destroyed and slain. Read that.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 36 verse 7.
Come on.
Raise up indignation.
Come on.
And pour out wrath.
Read.
Take away adversary.
Take away what?
Take away the adversary.
Yeah, take away our enemies, Yahweh. Read.
And destroy the enemy.
Come on, man, because we have them. And that's what she was talking about to the king, man. Destroy these cats. Read.
Come on. Say the time short.
Come on.
Remember the covenant.
Yeah, that's our prayer. Y'all should be praying that, man. Destroy the enemy. Say the time short. Remember the covenant, man. Read.
And let them declare thy wonderful works.
Yeah, come on, man. Esther was in a beautiful spirit, man, for her people. Why? Because she understood the placement that we were in. I want you to save my life and the life of my people. Jump back to Esther.
Esther chapter 7 verse 6. And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman.
Who is it?
This wicked Haman.
Yeah, this Edomite. Read.
Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. And the king arising from the banquet of the wine in his wrath went into the palace garden.
See, because she put him on blast. Remember, she wanted Haman to be there at dinner. But she asked, the king asked her, what do you want? She said right up, I want that nigga right there to be gone. He got to go. He like, oh, look, gotta go. Think about it. She did that so player boy. That was smooth. Brought him to the banquet to kill this man. What you want, Esther? I want him gone. Try to kill us. She probably looked at him with a smirk. Hit him with that.
That July smirk.
Right, I know who you is. Read.
And Haman stood up to make requests for his life to Esther the queen.
Listen, Haman was like, oh no, please, I didn't really mean it. Read.
For he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king.
Ooh, tables were turned. This is Purim. Tables were turned. That's why this is a joyous festival, man. A joyous feast. Why? Because we were supposed to get murdered. We were supposed to get smashed in the streets. But now look at it. The man that was trying to do us harm is coming to him. Read.
Verse 8. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house? Yeah. As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face.
Oh, they put that black mask on. Listen, the king did not stutter step. He was like, gotta go as you wish.
But look how cold the Most High was, though, because the king got mad at Haman.
Right. And
he got so mad, he just stormed out. When he came back in, he found Haman begging Esther on his bed.
Yep, dang.
So, on Esther's bed. So he's like, oh, so you going to rape her now?
Right.
You going to do that? Oh, so he's like, yeah.
Gotta go.
Verse 9.
The Most High is hilarious. Read.
And Harpanah, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold, also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman.
Ooh. Read.
Then the king said, hang him thereon. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai.
See, listen. Yeah, Haman got hung in his own household that he had set up for Mordecai. You big dummy. It didn't.
Oh, stop.
What you gonna have?
No.
It didn't work. But it's showing you what the negativity of Haman and what the spirit that Mordecai and Esther was in, man. They was in that humble spirit. They always made their supplications to the Most High. They never got, they were scared, but they always stood to the program, man. It shows why and how their sacrifices themselves, Esther sacrificing what she wanted to do for the betterment of her people. She probably didn't even know that she was going to be doing that. But that's what it went into. That's why a lot of y'all can't already think that you have it figured out what the Most High has planned for you. You don't. Because the Most High has more than you ever thought. More than you ever thought. So you got to see that the Most High is still working with us, man. Jump down to, hit it.
Verse 3, Esther chapter 8, verse 3. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Haggagite, and his device that he had devised against the Jews. Then the king held out the golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king, and said, If it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seem right before the king, and be pleasing in his eyes, that it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite.
Yeah, so the letters are going to be reversed. Rather than killing all the Jews, we're going to kill all those that wanted to kill the Jews. Check it out, read.
Which he wrote to destroy the Jews, which are in all the king's provinces. Verse 6, For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people, or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther, the queen, and to Mordecai the Jew, Behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged on the gallows, because he laid his hands upon the Jews. Write ye also for the Jews, as it liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written in the king's name, and sealed with the king's ring, may no man reverse.
Jump down to verse 9 and verse 2. We're going to jump a little bit, because we're seeing that Esther still has the good vibes with the king. And they reversed the decree that was put against the Jews. This is Esther chapter 9 verse 2.
Esther chapter 9 verse 2. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus to lay hand on such as sought their hurt. And no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people.
Yeah, the tides have turned. Now they're going after those that wanted to do them hurt. Read.
And all the rulers of the provinces and the lieutenants and the deputies and the officers of the king helped the Jews.
They did what?
Helped the Jews.
Come on.
Because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. For Mordecai was great in the king's house.
Yeah, when you go back to Esther chapter 8 and verse 15, you're going to see how Mordecai was arrayed in all the white, the blue. He had the gold crown. Oh, Mordecai was plain. Mordecai was clean. He wasn't at the front gate anymore. He was in the palace. Read.
And his fame went out throughout all the provinces. For this man, Mordecai, waxed greater.
Come on.
Greater. Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them.
Come on, man. The Most High repaid that 7 times more, man. All those that tried to put a hand against Israel, the Most High wasn't for it. Why? Because we had these righteous individuals, man. Esther, Mordecai. It's beautiful. Y'all got to see that a lot of times, again, I'm going to say it, we try to control things in our life that the Most High wants to see how you going to act. You going to be humble still? You going to be mild, meek? You going to still throw up your supplications, or you going to try to do it yourself? You going to try to be, I can do it all. It's me, my mind. That's why it says lean not on your own understanding, right? But trust in the Most High. What you got? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Verse 15. For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day, also of the month of Adar, and slew 300 men at Shushan.
Oh yeah, and they were killing people in the palace.
God.
In the king's palace, Shushan, in the gates. Read.
But on the prey that they laid not their hand. But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together, and stood for their lives, and had rest for their enemies, and slew their foes 70 and 5,000, but laid not their hands on the prey. On the 13th day of the month Adar, on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. But the Jews that were at Shushan assembled themselves together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th day thereof, and on the 15th day of the same they rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions one to another. And that's where we get the gift giving. When it says they were sending portions one to another, that's where we had the feast. We had that feast, what is it, the first day? And then on the second day, we have the gifts. Verse 20. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the King Ahasuerus, both nigh and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly. And as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from that morning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor.
Where you at?
That was the end of verse 22.
On what, 9?
Yeah.
You can jump down to 26.
Verse 26. Wherefore they call these days Purim, after the name Pur. Therefore, for all the words of this letter, and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them, and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing, and according to their appointed time every year, and that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city. Every family, every province, and every city. And that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed. Then Esther the queen, the daughter of Abihail, and Mordecai the Jew, wrote with all authority to confirm the second letter of Purim. And he sent the letters unto all the Jews to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus, with words of peace and truth, to confirm these days of Purim and their times appointed, according as Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoyed them, and as they had decreed for themselves and for their seed the matters of the fasting and their cry. And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book.
Yeah, man, and that's the story of Esther. You know, again, go back, read that yourself, and see how the Most High delivered Israel. He delivered Israel by humble, meek, mild individuals, man. You got to see what spirit was accepted and rejected. You had that cocky spirit by Haman that we shouldn't have on us. But you see that at the end, man, Esther had a delight from the king to where, listen, anything went, man. Anything that she wanted went. I'm going to show you something real quick. First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 19. First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 19, last scripture.
First Maccabees chapter 3 verse 19. For the victory of the battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven.
Read that again.
For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven.
See, the strength come from the heaven, man. The strength come from the Heavenly Father, from Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's where our strength come from. It don't come from your hands, man. Esther sent up the prayers. Esther had everybody fasting and praying to save their people, to save our people. Our power comes from heaven. We got to remember that. Read.
They come against us in much pride and iniquity.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Haman. Haman had that pride and iniquity to kill us. But it don't matter, man. It don't matter how much these enemies outside the walls, when we go out there to our daily jobs, when we get out of school, and I'm talking about this school, get off the camera. When you get out back into the hectic society, man, what does it say? Read that again.
They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us.
And that's exactly what they want to do. They're going to come at you with pride and iniquity, man. They're going to try to destroy you. Read.
And our wives and children, and to spoil us.
Yeah, just like they did in this book, in the book of Esther. They wanted to kill our children, the husbands, the wives, everything. The world is just like that. But understand that our power comes from the Most High. That was a beautiful scripture when it said the Most High changed the king's mind. But read.
But we fight for our lives and our law.
We do what?
Fight for our lives and our law.
That's why I said our ways were diverse, because we didn't switch up, man. We didn't switch up under the pressure. Pressure don't bust our pipes. It may bust these other heathens and these weak individuals, but when it comes to us that have this book, it don't bust our pipes. Read that again.
They come against us. Oh, slide.
No, keep reading. Read that.
God. They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us, and our wives and children, and to spoil us. But we fight for our lives.
We do what?
Fight for our lives.
Whenever you talk about this Bible, whenever you read the Bible to your kids, you're doing what?
Fight for our lives.
Whenever you go outside, you be like, listen, I'm gonna be that example. I'm not gonna eat this crazy food when I go to my people's house. When I'm gonna speak a certain way when I'm around sisters. I'm gonna move a certain way because I know I'm a child of God and Israelite. Read.
We fight for our lives.
Come on.
And our law.
We do, man. That's what we fighting for, y'all. That's what Esther, Mordecai, that's what they were fighting for, man. It's bigger than just you and I. But that's what Purim's about, man. Having joy and gladness that the Most High saved our people multiple times. But this is on Purim. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and end class. Again, we're going to have class tomorrow. We got Sabbath class, 10 a.m. in the morning. Save your questions. Go ahead and save your questions for tomorrow, and the priest will be here to answer those. I hope that y'all all enjoyed the class. Go back and read Esther, man. It's a good book. Purim is coming up on the 18th and 19th, I believe, right? The 18th and 19th. So we have something going on here in Houston. If you want information, hit us up. We'll let you know exactly where we're going to be at. All right? So with that, let the people online, let them know shalom.
Shalom.
Listen, man, when y'all get a chance, definitely read that Esther. It's very good.
We're in the Bible is actually really small.
It's not just a page or two.
I said our battles are truly not ours. The Most High. I get what that scripture says.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Like, real. I was sitting there thinking about my personal issues, and I'm like, man, I'm sitting there trying to contemplate getting overnight job. My issues are different, bro. I got different stuff going on with the system.